standards right, he's violating his own standard.
But he has no standard because the standard keeps shifting. He says the standard of morality is your life. But then when you ask him, then if I choose my life instead of my children, so in other words, I sacrifice my kids so that I may live, is that moral? By his standard, he should say yes, but he says no. It's amazing.
And what's his reasoning for saying no?
Whatever he may come up with. But it'll be inconsistent regardless. Another standard he violates of his own is he says that you cannot initiate violence or aggression. You can continue it, and that's moral, but it is always immoral to initiate aggression. And therefore, if I attack you, you have the right to attack me, basically. I get that. But if I want to do tax evasion because the government initiated force on me, stealing my money via taxation, he believes that is immoral. Me doing tax evasion is immoral, although I'm continuing the aggression, not initiating it. And
that's incoherent.
And that is incoherent because his justification is that, but it's illegal. So you get your morality from the law. And then he says, no, I don't. But yes, you do.
So his only standard is whatever the government says.
His standard is what
Ayn Rand says.
What Ayn Rand says, and he for some reason does use the law to he does rely on the law for his morality or to justify his morality.
Did you resolve with Manville his biblical claim that you have to follow the police?
No, he just simply couldn't argue it. He just simply
you kind of like really attacked his whole worldview, man.
Yeah, dude, I've been a rabbi for 3 years and a half. Although I resigned.
But Church of the Lavishing Love is close?
Yeah, old habits.
Did you resign in protest?
No, I resigned because I don't do it for free anymore. If you want to learn about the Bible, you're gonna have to pay me. Like if you want real education, you can come to me. If you want to, that's just what it is. But so because I have something real to offer, Diego, then I expect payment.
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. Like I promoted Bitcoin back in the day. And I don't talk about it anymore. You don't have to pay me if you want to talk about it.
Exactly. Education doesn't come for free.
Yeah. I don't have as much Bitcoin as Rico.
I did plant the seed.
No, not as much as Rico.
I did plant the seed of doubt, and I told them until you reconcile with my, you will never have a day of rest up until you come with an answer to this question.
Until you come.
Tell me where you disagree.
Exactly, and that's the truth. It's just not going to be able to cover.
So you would respect Simon more if he was like David, where he doesn't have a justification; he just has a.
No, I respect Simon. I would appreciate him more if he understands that which he criticizes. Simon is the type of nigga who criticizes the Titanic, but he never read it. He never watched it. Sorry, he never watched the movie, but he's writing reviews about it. Which is fine. It's totally fine. It's just that I believe when you review things, like there should be something. Like this guy didn't watch the movie. Like it should make that thing somehow. We should be able to identify.
At least he's consistent.
I don't think Simon is. I don't think he's consistent. I think he betrays his own principles out of convenience.
I use mine.
I'll give you an example. Tax evasion. He thinks tax evasion is immoral. Although by his standard, he should not be saying that.
I think his position has shifted on that. No, taxation is theft. You see, no, because he doesn't think taxation is theft. See, you have to start with that point.
And
I told him, this is an English language problem. You don't speak English properly. You just don't understand the definition of taxation.
If he doesn't think taxation is theft, then he shouldn't talk about socialism or capitalism. He clearly doesn't understand it. Or freedom. Or he should not be talking about freedom. He should not be talking about property rights, for example.
Which is an interview, though.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So what you believe is in conditional property rights.
Conditional.
And he believes in taxes. That means You believe that the one who...
All lies.
So you believe that whoever knows how to make money shouldn't have the money.
You can watch the interview here with candidate Congressman Kitover below. I didn't try to use your
How do you figure that?
mine. I'm also not irrelevant, nor do I act impulsively.
Because I believe that I would rather...
All lies.
I would rather pay my tax to Elon Musk than the government. Elon Musk will put my money to better use than the government.
You'd rather pay $10,000 a year to X than
to Elon Musk.
You get more value out of it than like.
Yeah, I would rather give money to the richest man in the world than give money to the government so that they redistribute it and like redistribute 10% of it and pocket 90% of it, and then the 10% that they do redistribute, they give it to those who they don't even know what to do with it.
Well, he's rich by the very virtue of the fact that he's very efficient, right? That he doesn't squander all his savings. That's why he's rich.
Yeah, like I do believe if I give my money to Elon Musk, he will put that money in an actual project that actually do something. If I give it to the government, it'll be pocketed by incompetent people, and it'll be redistributed to people who don't want to work, lazy people, whatever, people who don't know how to spend that money. Why would I do that? I want zero.
Because, okay, I'm going to argue like Simon, because you need a monopoly of property right enforcement.
So because I need...
Hi, Emily.
So, okay, let me tell you this. You also need to protect your businesses. So why not have the mafia come and extort you and like take 30% of your money to protect
please be specific.
Yes, the only thing is that there's multiple mafias. There's only one government.
The government, exactly, and I would rather have like 100 mafias than have one big mafia.
That's why I told him. I said you claim you're free market, but then when it comes to this, like the most important thing, which is security, you're anti-market, and he doesn't see it.
He is anti-market. What kind of stocks does he own? What kind of what does he own?
Hey, I don't own any stocks, so I mean, and I'm pro markets.
What capital does he own? Okay, fine, but you own Bitcoin. That's capital. You own other thing. You own home.
Every day since this man has passed, and y'all gotta chill.
Now they hold it.
Let me just say this.
Now they hold
I'm so sick of
the
every
chain.
time something happens to a
They
white
got full
person,
circle.
I want to come and play kumbaya.
They got full
to people's
circle.
senses, and he had a family. Bitch, we don't give a fuck. We do not care.
Well, I thought it was a
We
tribute.
said we sorry. He shouldn't have got
I
shot.
thought it was
we
a
don't agree with
tribute.
that. That's not what we agree with. But bitch, stop trying to tell black people to fucking have sympathy for people who hated us when they were here. Get the fuck out of here. This is why black people are the way they are in this country. Because y'all patronize us and try to play in our fucking face every time. Bitch, we watched for a decade black people get shot on camera. On fucking camera. And none of you motherfuckers got in here and did none of this. Y'all didn't do none of this twisting and turning. But soon as a white boy died that hated us, y'all want us to motherfucking show our humanity. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. And I'm dead ass serious. Any of y'all white people that's on that, I don't, shut your fat ass up, bitch.
No,
I'm not done talking. Y'all always got something.
That's not true. When Floyd died,
and this is the thing, you don't know how to shut the fuck up. You think that you can talk over a black person when I'm talking, because y'all are so indignant. Y'all are so privileged. Nobody has ever told y'all to shut the fuck up. Be quiet. Y'all think y'all can talk over people? Y'all think when y'all get mad, the world has to stop? That's not how it goes, bitch. And I'm so sick of y'all coming in here telling black people what to do and how to feel. Fuck y'all. We said we didn't want the man to die. That's all you getting.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I don't think anyone should be killed by anyone else ever. Like that's my own ethic, right? But the conversation I would be interested in is, instead of going, round and around about this same thing of how people feel or they don't feel. We talked about this so much. The conversation I'd be interested in having is around political violence and how we define that. Because I feel like political violence is too narrowly defined. in terms of acts of physical violence. Now, speech, if you imminently call for harm to come to other people, like if you say, we should all take up arms right now and go over there and kill those people, that is considered political speech. But to me, the ambiguity is, where do you draw that line of what is considered calling for harm to come to other people? I find that to be too ambiguous, because I feel like, to me, there's a broader spectrum of what political violence is. And because of that, I feel like the statements that he made, I feel like they do engage in political violence, but I haven't really heard people talking about this part of it. So anyway, and I know there's other people who'd be like, nah, you can say anything, sort of calling for somebody to shoot someone else, and then it's not political violence until we're getting physical. So that's not my perspective, but I'm interested to hear what other people think about this.
Hi, Malak. Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to say, and good morning, everybody. Couple of things. I feel like, first of all, no, nobody should be killed. I know that's been brought up a million times, but I also feel like that particular comment or statement, not from you, but that particular statement about the whether he's killed or not is almost a deflection of why we got here. A lot of what he said, and there's a whole Wikipedia section that talks about the thing that cites the sources of things that he has said. There is political violence at a certain level. Black people in particular have always had to deal with folks when they start going down a rabbit hole, talking about how it could be from small things ranging from how unqualified somebody is to very strange ideas about comparing Martin Luther King and Terrence, and you know who I'm talking about, the Supreme Court Justice. That's always been a problem with racism. There are some people who treat it as a personal opinion. I attended, and not to make it too political, I do see it sometimes from somebody from a conservative side, and I sort of get it to a certain degree. It's the idea that you're treating someone as an individual, and sometimes the people do see that as personal. But a lot of that, particularly on a political stage, especially on a political stage, it's always been dog whistles for racism. And I think the problem that conservatives sometimes don't understand is that they stand on a lot of ideas. And a lot of those ideas aren't necessarily bad ideas, but ideas can be corrupted. It's the same thing when someone says that someone's being Christian, and they're still using racist terms. In fact, if you look at the Ku Klux Klan, that history, there was a little bit of mix of Christianity with racism, the idea that we were destined to do this. And he didn't distance himself from that. That's a big part of the problem. So when people are upset and angry, particularly now, it's those statements plus where we are within this country. The idea that we are sort of relitigating racism at a certain level. Keep in mind, Kirk made $300,000 a year. And it's really almost saying he made $300,000 a year on conservatism, but it's also $300,000 a year on racial attacks that were not really structured in a way that I would call even intellectual, to be quite honest. It was done to get the people that they wanted to get. And I don't think it's really I think it's hard to ask people to be calm about that when these are dog whistles that have traditionally been used for racism, and no one separates that out. And the same thing when you talk about LGBTQ issues as well too. So I hope that builds on the conversation. Thanks for hearing me out.
The top of the rising to you all.
Good day, top of the rising, bro.
How are you feeling this morning?
Hey, all smiles, brother. Despite the mainstream news, I am surrounded by solutions and not problems. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the stage. Shout out to the chat. Hope everybody's eating
I also didn't enlist Mike's Rice to attack you. All lies.
Likewise, beloved. Enter the room, First Lady, and all those responsible for keeping a long social political network going here at the Clubhouse's great room. Well, I assume the unmistakable 10,000-pound gorilla hanging upside down on the ceiling. It's hard to miss the Charlie Kirk story and his wife and Donald Trump and
the greatest thing about this room is it goes all day long.
Orchestrators, and could this all be fake news? It's a pertinent cross-examination question. Given the light of 9/11 and other catastrophes, and when you connect the dots, Howard Hughes' network at TWA didn't fly the 767. They flew a 747. That was a raggedy, because the other one was not disposable. But nevertheless, we have so much going on here with Charles Kirk. This is a guy that wanted to fan the flames of diversity and not having any form of inclusion. So you understand, and I think he could have been well paid by the Donald Trump network or Netanyahu's network. They want to give this guy the Freedoms Award, one of the highest awards that he could pass out to anybody. I want to say this man is baby Jesus, a white Jesus. So all of the motives are questionable, and the news could be potentially fake, because just like if you'll remember Teddy Olson, his wife was on the 9/11 flight and disappeared and reappeared. And some folks are saying that this guy has reappeared somewhere. There's I don't know if it's fake news, all of it, some of it, but those things are definitely in the news. And I think we're just sent out to vilify we the people in a subtle manner. They would vilify our people to keep us out of the mainstream of operations in America. That's just my take. I'll land my plane with facts, as I always do, and say my mind.
Yeah, it's been a lot going on surrounding this. Looking at somebody's PPR, I'm 100% with culturally, like, I don't understand. And people are, you can't force people to care about something, but people can feel like this isn't right to kill someone on a public. I don't think that's right.
No, but Patty, it's almost like they're baiting someone to say something negative, like no one's saying nothing negative. Everyone is like, okay, the guy passed away, it's unfortunate. But what else do you want someone to say?
Right. And that's the part I don't like, Haitian. It's like, okay, well, you know, you can't say how he was, or we gotta ignore the things that he said himself. We you know, it's given like Nazi Germany for real, because it's like you need to say this and make sure it sounds. Why would I do that?
Yeah, and then if you're just saying, you know, you don't agree with that type of violence, then it's like, oh, you guys said this, motherfucker. You didn't say what someone said. It's weird, bro.
I'll put it this way from my end of it too. The whole disagree thing works only if you can really, number one, if you can even know what's the shared value. When Kirk is spouting racism, and again, like I said, clear dog whistles.
Oh, hey, fellow. Welcome to my incredible production of super stupid people wasting all their time talking about nothing.
The debates are supposed
Post the receipts in the chat, oh fellow.
Whether you build a highway across the state, or whether you build a data center, things that involve infrastructure that might impact several things down the line, a little bit more strategic. The sad part about that whole disagreement thing is that we don't apply that to those instances. We try to apply it to things that are unethical. And I think that's a big part of the problem as well. And one last thought before I land, I'm particularly interested in hearing what the motivation that gets assigned to Tyler. I'm not sure. I appreciate Cox for trying to kind of manage the moment. Governor Cox from Utah, but I don't entirely buy the idea that Reddit is necessarily the reason why this person would go and kill somebody. Social media can be bad, but it requires engagement. And I don't feel like they really are getting to it, but at the same time, the suspect is also not cooperating. So it'll be a while before we get to that point. But I'm more interested in the motivation, because I think that would help guide the conversation further about, how do we get past this moment? And I'll land there.
Is it going to be like a public? I'm assuming public and everything. The services.
The what?
The service.
The service. Yeah, I think. Well, not the service. I think. I don't know.
There's a live stream today. I think.
This room.
I think there's a live stream today. I know that there's a service in Arizona at the Cardinal Stadium, like a public. Yeah. So that part I've read online.
The continuity of fake news is that the widow of Charlie Kirk. Could you imagine the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy and Caroline Kennedy coming to the mic and rocking the mic, or Robert Francis Kennedy or Dr. King, any of those there attempting to equate? Immediately she runs to the mic and says, we're going to build this movement, or we're going to have a continuity, using the blonde hair and the blue eyes to say, petrify those that may criticize these actions of Netanyahu, especially with fake news saying that the guy was an ally. Many times criticized Israel, and he labeled him as the guy that was so Israeli. So, but then he buys time immediately with all that war going on.
We have reached critical mass. I've done it again.
Prime time television, worldwide television.
Enjoy the show,
especially American television, to tell us that this guy was his man. That was his point guard. So him and Donald Trump share a point guard in Charlie Kirk. It just has all the makings of it. I'm not saying it is fake news, but it has all of the components, much of the makings of fake news. And of course, we know that Donald Trump is the inventor, the producer, the orchestrator of fake news. And the attempt of the fake news characterization as a master of deception. Public deception is one of the highest crimes that you could do as a public official, right next to malfeasance and violating or omitting the volition or the will of the people, which I'll land my plane on the facts as you know them to be, as always, by saying my.
No, that's a good point you raised there, brother.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, his wife, we've never seen a 180 like that in politics, especially in like a JFK like assassination.
And then here comes the widower. Oh, my man was a good man. Let's build him up. There's a mark.
Anything to deflect from Epstein, anything to deflect from Gaza, anything to keep them out of jail, because they're going to go to jail, both of them.
The potential is great. Possibilities may be slim. that lady was Barbara Olson that was spotted after 9/11. She was a CNN reporter who happened to be the wife of Teddy Olson, who happens to be the Solicitor General or the big-time lawyer for the standing president, George W. Bush, at that time of the 9/11. And there was so much fake news from just the faking about the building crumbling and the faking about the airlines and the connection, the faking at the Pentagon, saturated with fake news as well. This is saturated with fake news. And I think just have to expose these facts and check the wicked, because expose their wickedness and their attempts at being a fulfillment decoy, that we will see their futile attempts to manipulate the masses of the people is a high crime for real. I'll lay my plan on that fact. I want to show you some of these are the real criminals that the National Guard should be going after at this hour, Mama.
It was very powerful of his wife, though, to come out and say what she said, how she said it. I know she didn't name names, but that definitely took a lot of guts to get out there and do that. But you gotta go all the way. You gotta name names, or else, now you're a target.
Good morning, y'all. I'm sorry. I had to get my car parked. It's hard for me to, y'all can't hear anything. But what was y'all talking about, the last comment?
Just speaking on Erica and how brave it was for her to come forward, and even though she didn't name names, but to, seek justice and not want to lose momentum on that sensitive time frame. First 48 type shit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she just lost her husband, so she's going through a lot. She's trying to pick up the pieces and try to figure out where they're going to go forward, at least with their business.
Yeah, that wasn't easy. getting up there.
I agree. So let me see if I can find some other. We need to focus on other news for now, at least until the podcast come on, because there's more than just Charlie Kirk going on in the world, y'all. So, breaking. Let me see what's going on. ABC, NBC. Golly, everything is Charlie Kirk. It's NBC. Ooh. Okay, so this is some news. South Korea is probing for human rights abuses in the U.S. In U.S. raid as Trump insists foreign workers are welcome. So, this article says South Korea said Monday that it would investigate whether its workers suffered any human rights violations during a raid by U.S. authorities. Foreign workers are welcome in America, Trump said on social media Sunday, after the emotional return of 300 workers to South Korea. But their detention following a raid by immigration authorities at a Hyundai plant in Georgia has stunned the key U.S. ally. I understand the government is conducting a more thorough review with the companies to determine whether any human rights violations occurred, presidential spokesperson Kang Young-jung said in a press briefing Monday, according to the Yonhap news agency. The foreign ministry is looking at whether our demands were properly addressed, and the companies are still conducting their own reviews. There is a clip. Yeah, South Korea is not playing by their people. They locked their ass up, and because they were there illegally. But how you treated them while they were in prison, they're not playing that shit. Not what they did. So let me go ahead and play this clip real quick, at least until we're able to listen to this podcast.
Hundreds of workers detained in shackles in the U.S. have returned to South Korea, arriving to applause and dozens of cameras. Officials here telling journalists to not film workers' faces at the airport to protect their privacy. But away from the terminal, where workers reunited with family, how good does it feel to be home? Some spoke publicly for the first time about the immigration raid in Georgia that ignited a diplomatic crisis. These workers said it was like being in a movie with armored vehicles and guns pointed at us, he says. There was no way we could resist, so we all just surrendered and were taken. Others described the cold conditions and prison food. He says he's feeling, quote, nothing but joy to be home. The drama started September 4th when armed agents with ICE stormed a $4.3 billion battery factory being built by Hyundai and LG. 475 people were rounded up there, accused by immigration officials of working illegally in the U.S. What type of visas they were on, or if they had visas at all, still isn't clear. U.S. authorities saying using foreign laborers hurts American workers.
We are sending a clear and unequivocal message that those who exploit our workforce, undermine our economy, and violate federal laws will be held accountable.
But the images of Korean workers carted off in handcuffs were on news channels everywhere, sparking outrage here over their treatment. South Korea's government chartering a plane and making a deal to bring them back. A lot of attention is being paid to these images of the South Korean workers arriving home safely and with dignity after an ordeal that could threaten relations with the U.S. The raid has set off alarms at South Korea's biggest companies that are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into U.S. manufacturing, the sort of foreign investment President Trump has demanded in trade talks. The problem is visas. Companies here often use short-term B1s or B2s or visa waiver programs to get skilled workers onto projects. Even South Korea's president said there needs to be a better system, or companies here might hesitate to gamble on the U.S.
They're not there to take American jobs away, but semiconductors, electric batteries, there's not that much domain expertise in the U.S. right now. And for the Korean companies who invested a lot of money in the U.S., they need to send people there to execute on the business plan.
There's political fallout to deal with too, given how upset many South Koreans have been that an ally would treat their workers the way they did. I felt like this wasn't something that would happen in the America we know, he says. Even if perceptions of America change here, she says, I'm not sure that would actually affect the United States. Already, LG has confirmed that the opening of that battery factory will be delayed 2 to 3 months. One challenge, convincing the technicians building it to go back. Nobody is going to stay and work when it's like this, says this engineer. For now, the returning workers have been urged to rest. I'll cook something delicious to make them feel better, says this mom. And with that, he was heading home. Janice Mackey-Freyer, NBC News, Incheon, South Korea.
People said I didn't look like your average.
So, Patty, from what I read, a lot of them came on they had visas, but they didn't have the correct visas because the wait list was so long. So they came on business travel visa or business visa that doesn't necessarily allow you to work. But that's because, and I believe like the company warned them, or a warning was made to the company. Like, I think they were aware and they took a risk. The company was like, look, we're sending you out here. We need this done. And from what I read, they were actually training American workers on how to do these electric batteries. And those workers are not going to be trained anytime soon. Who knows if it will, I'm going to assume it's going to resume in a few months. But actually, the administration or Mark Rubio was trying to get them back. So, but they already left.
And this caused a domino effect because LG, another South Korean company, actually pulled out investment in America. So it's other companies in South Korea. They're paying attention.
Jeremy, you beat me to it. Yeah, like this is a slippery slope of fuckery, unfortunately. Like, for this administration to tout bringing back manufacturing and then go behind our partners who are leading manufacturing on the global stage is, I can't even fathom. But yeah, Jeremy, that's exactly what I want to come up with. But I don't think your middle America, suburban, make America white again understands that caveat of the scope of things, Jeremy, because I don't know if you've seen the lady on TikTok who was, praising herself for the whole raid in Georgia.
She was gloating about it. And there's a lot of people in the comments from Georgia that have family members that were supposed to be working at that factory, getting trained, getting paid, and have like a future career, long-term career in that area. That it was in the comments. So it was, she shot herself in the foot when it comes to her campaign. If she's trying to be part of politics, you already lost a bunch of jobs before you even got into the job. So congratulations, she freaking. How do you lose before you even start the competition?
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. And she's a Republican, so she stopped the project that Donald Trump had been begging for, and now they're pulling out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what you want to put on a T-shirt. Racism is expensive. That's what it is. All the racism is costing it costs how many billions of dollars in investment from Hyundai, right? That's how, and then again, other companies are paying attention and they're pulling out too. It's like, you know what? I'm not gonna put my employees at risk. My employees don't even want to go anymore. They're like, fuck this. I don't want to go there and train people. What, to get arrested and put in like a piss-smelled cell? You know what I mean?
Well, who was working at the facility? Like who was working at the facility? When I just want to know. Cause I understand there was a raid, right? But I'm saying
what do you
I have friends who work at Tesla. There's no raid on Tesla though.
Are you not listening to the?
You understand when a company starts, like a factory starts?
He's not, Jeremy. He's not listening to the conversation. He's not understanding the conversation.
I just got in the room. I'm just trying to get a little bit of context. So I'm standing like, yo, is there a real?
Rashad.
Wait a minute, Rashad.
I was gonna tell you what was going on.
I know. Wait, let me clarify the question. Before everybody go crazy. Niggas like, oh, he ain't listening. Oh my God.
You bring up for.
I know. Let me finish the question before y'all go retarded. I understand there was a raid.
Don't use that word.
I understand there was a raid. I understand that. I'm saying I got friends who work. I have a friend who works at the Panasonic facility, right? They make the.
So you're just gonna repeat what you just said.
Exactly. Yes. I'm repeating what I said.
I'm sorry.
I'm repeating what I said.
We all have ADHD.
I'm repeating what I said.
But we don't need you to repeat
what I said. I'm gonna finish.
You're not gonna tell me what you're gonna finish because you're gonna be in a goo.
I'm gonna finish the sentence. I can't finish what I just said.
You don't need it.
Your sentence to the goo. So, Miss Hip Hop, go ahead. What were you saying? Would you like to explain it to him? Maybe.
Yeah, so Rashad, the point of view you were getting ready to explain has nothing at all to do with the raid that just happened in Georgia. And I was watching the stage in the conversation when you came in, so it was just picking up. The raids in Georgia was because of a local white woman found out about some South Koreans working there. She made a big hoopla. ICE raided them. Lo and behold, those workers were here on visas to train Americans on how to build batteries so that way Hyundai can hire and employ them. That's what we were talking about.
Did he leave?
Don't call him dumb. He just wasn't paying attention.
Which one, Jeremy? First lady, put him in the goo because.
Hello, Haiti. Welcome to my room. We're holding Black America and gay men accountable. Thank you for joining us, little Haiti.
But they wouldn't know that. She wouldn't know that because in her white mind, I have a bunch of Asian migrants who were in my community taking jobs for my fellow white Americans. That's how that looked to her. She didn't like it. It wasn't on brand for what her administration want their policies and what they want their America to look like. So she did what she could. And ultimately, her actions, gave us the results.
Was she not working for Hyundai at all? She was like this.
No, she does not work for Hyundai at all. She just lives in the neighborhood of the factory.
Oh,
she wants to run for office. So Pierre, this is her grift to become known online so she can run for office. She wants to be a congressional person.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, and she caused the area. I mean, how bad does that hit the economy? Like all that investment that came in, billions. They already built like the factory. They're training people already to work at the factory. Americans that'll take over. And obviously factories that don't just come and go. Like they're gonna be there and establish careers. It's gonna be schools are gonna be funded. Like there's a lot of shit that goes into a new factory getting built in your area. And she just
threw a wrench in the whole operation.
No.
Now if you're South Korea or if you're the company, right, and you're like, okay, if more people don't want to go over there to train people, and we gotta look at other locations, you think they're gonna be looking at America to build their factories? They're gonna probably look at other alternatives, right?
So I was the child that wasn't quite listening. Who's this lady and what's she running for? I heard that part.
The lady that snitched to ICE is running for Congress in Georgia.
She's running for Congress in Georgia.
Well, she's trying to. She's trying to get clout right now. So that's why she put on TikTok that I'm the one that called the ICE on that big raid.
Oh, she was bragging about it.
Yeah, she was bragging about it. She was gloating. She was saying, I'm the one, I helped catch, 300, 400, illegal immigrants. And it turns out they all had visas. They were trained.
I told y'all that day. I was like, they had, some of them had visas or something. Because on the news, that's what they were suggesting, but it was some kind of confusion. So now I'm glad the whole story has come full circle. And now we know, because at the end of the day, some of these situations, we don't have all the information, but everybody just starts going crazy. And I'm like, this lady, that's exactly what she did. So do you think she did some investigation, or she just got whiff of it from somebody else?
I don't think she had much information, but another layer to this. Mm-hmm. Why didn't ICE do an investigation first?
Right, that's exactly what I was about to say.
To establish a raid. You don't just be like, oh, hey, this is the new location in 30 minutes, guys. You guys ready? No. You got to get, how many people do you have to have ready with ICE in order to arrest 400 people?
So if I'm not mistaken, they were supposed to have done some investigation. That was part of the report in the beginning, saying that they were, aliens in this place for a while.
Men lie, women lie, and results don't. They just made this shit up. They got reported as a bunch of immigrants working in that one building. And the sad part about this, people got about 3 years before they can just make someone's life a living in. I just saw ICE and saying, it's about 20 minutes living in this house.
Well, I'm asking you.
Yeah, I think that Jeremy's point, which I love that he raised it up. If somebody's coming into a plan, you talk to the managers or somebody within who's managing that plan. That's not something that you go and say, okay, let's plan a raid, without having any conversation at all with the company at all. That shouldn't be making sense at any level.
You scope it out first, right? I mean, if you're a cop and you're trying to do a raid, you ought to make sure that you've got the right house. If you're a good cop, right? You want to make sure you got the right house, you got the right location, the facts line up. Otherwise, you're going to put your people in danger, right? You get the wrong house, and the homeowner is going to defend it like a person's supposed to. You're going to put your people in danger for no reason. So you want to make sure you're not only doing the right thing by getting the right location where the crime is happening, but also you want to make sure your people aren't put in unnecessary harm.
That's you red flag the people that actually, internally within the U.S., you red flag them, and they are likely to lose their jobs. That's literally an immediate fire.
Well, so what about the people that they were training? Are you saying that they're out of a job? What's going on?
They're not getting trained right now. They're everything's on hold.
They can't train themselves. They don't have anybody left over to train. You only need one.
Korean, South Korean, all of the stuff.
Train the Americans.
Yeah, they were training the first round of people to train the Americans.
That's cool.
So they're training everybody that's American. Because everything is in Korean, right? Everything is they're coming over and putting faith in America that hey, we're gonna train in American, but hey, we gotta at least train the first round of Americans so that way they can train the rest of people. So they're translating basically all the training.
Plus, they may be dealing with something proprietary. That usually happens within companies. If Ford had a problem training people, unless it's something that's from a shared supplier, they really are very protective about going to, let's say GM or going to somebody else bring somebody in to train your people. So it's to Jeremy's point, it may be something proprietary there as well. It's also preventing them to work that up.
When they built our plant and they brought in the new AGV to move the we use AGVs for a lot of different things. The big ones, I was working in marriage at the time, and that's where the body of the car meets the whole undercarriage, the engine, everything is connected to the car. And the AGVs were huge. It came from Switzerland. Them guys that built that thing, they didn't speak English. None of them. And they went so far as they stayed, they got everything set up. They wouldn't even train the tradesmen on how to fix the AGVs if they broke down. So when you say proprietary, absolutely.
Got it. Thank you for the update. Thank you. Yep, we just got finished listening to a clip. Is South Korea? Is that? I know it's Korea.
Yeah, Hyundai is a car maker in Korea.
Yeah, so they were not pleased with the fact of how their citizens were treated. However, they're going back. They're going to investigate. Is that right, Patty?
Yeah.
Yes. So investigate how they did it during that period of time that they were locked up. I want to welcome you to the stage. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome to Politically Correct. If you have been here throughout the day that we started on this wonderful Monday, yes, it is September the 15th, 2025. And we are approaching the 12 o'clock hour, midday. And we will be having, we will be listening to a podcast where they will be, what are they doing, Patty?
It'll be a tribute. It's, J.D. Vance is hosting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be special guests. So, yeah, I don't know if it's going to be his last podcast, but it's probably his first podcast.
Okay. So I'm sure the wife is going to pick this up moving forward. Well, according to her words, I don't know if she's going to, continue, but it sounds like she definitely has that thought in mind. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Well, the interesting thing about him, sorry, I'm here, everybody, is that his whole thing was about women shouldn't work, right? They should be dedicated to their family and have more children. So I don't know how that's going to work if his audience, he's built his audience on that women shouldn't go to college and all of that stuff, right? Because you don't need it, because you're going to be at home tending to the children. So will his audience accept his wife taking over? Maybe some will, maybe some won't, but his whole thing was about, men, in power and the old school family structure of women staying at home.
I think it's ironic. I think it's going to be. Oh, go ahead.
Wait a minute. One second. Who else is trying? So we got Pierre, Michael trying to speak. Okay. Sin, that's a really good point. I think we need to have a further discussion about that after we listen. Because I'd really like to know what people would think about that. One mic on, was it okay, Michael?
Yeah, I was supposed to speak, but give it to Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Follow up.
Yeah, I think it's ironic that people like that, advocate for, women staying in the home, but they don't also advocate for the situation that made it to where women could stay in the home back when they could. And that is really good paying jobs where one income could support an entire household. And the one of the ways that made that happen was they had a 90% tax on the uber wealthy, and I want to say a 50% corporate tax. And because they had these high taxes, corporations and individuals were incentivized to spend money so they wouldn't pay taxes, and so they paid people a lot more. So it's kind of ironic that they want one side but don't want the side that actually makes that side work.
Okay, Pierre.
I think Sin raises a very good question. I think it's going will not follow her. That's more of a manosphere type problem. And I think that Kirk has sort of attracted that. Charlie Kirk attracted that in his audience. That's also, and Trump to a certain degree, to be honest with you, because otherwise you wouldn't see the split that we saw with black men voting for Trump. But I think the women that will follow that, will follow Erica, there are folks who are kind of saying these things in very subtle terms, in terms of all these little dating videos and how to keep a person, that type of thing. I think there will be a small audience of women that will follow that. It just depends on how Erica moves forward. She technically has an opportunity to maybe change the narrative for a turning point. I know it kind of sounds like a pun, but she kind of does. If she figures out how not to do the same sort of things. I'm not necessarily rooting for it, but she technically has the opportunity to make a change. But I have a feeling that may not happen. And I think we'll see a split between men and women a little bit about who will follow who won't. Because part of Charlie Kirk's appeal are things, and to be honest, part of Trump's appeal that people who voted for him, there's a certain mannish, I don't want to say tone, but maybe they're talking points that men, not that women don't have an opinion on, but men particularly gather towards. And I think that part, that's how we're ending up with this whole manosphere, which I know is a whole different topic, but that's partly why we're seeing so much of that going on right now. The whole idea of, you can be fixed if other people change their ways or shrink down their ambitions for you. So we'll see, but I think it will be a split.
Thank you for that. I'm going to say I definitely can see possibly a split. However, I can, depending on how she markets this, is really going to set the tone moving forward. Because I think a lot of people won't be paying attention to it. Sin brought it to our attention and everybody's like, oh yeah. But from their side, they just want to hear from her based off of the tragedy that just happened, right? So I think that will begin the gateway for her to even continuously have a voice. So, and who knows how that will transpire moving forward, but at least from the very beginning, I definitely see her, if she's up to it. She said that she is, but if she is up to it and I think from the very beginning that she'll have clarity to support just based off of the tragedy, if that makes sense. Does anybody else like to comment on the subject?
Good morning, everyone. I would like to comment.
Good day.
I would like to comment on the Hyundai. I commuted back and forth to work, and I saw the plant being built from the ground up, and the massive amount of work that they put into that facility is phenomenal. I passed through there a couple of weekends ago, and their parking space is just as big. And I only saw a few cars, so I guess those were the people that were training. But I said that to say there's no amount of the job that won't even, I don't know, this area I live in Marjorie Taylor Greene's district. And this area was building before she was reelected. And then the second time she was reelected, it pulled out a lot of money because a lot of the construction that was going on came to a close. They're also building a Microsoft facility here. So I don't know what kind of impact that would have, but seeing the facility and knowing that the raid had happened, it just, it touched me because I saw how massive and the money that they put into building it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you for that. But they're not going to close it, right? So I don't know what the plans are, but I'm sure they're going to be able to continue to use it.
So if they're going to close it, I'm not sure if they're going to close it or not. But like you said, they were in there training people, and I can tell you the population up here, education, as far as younger kids, is very good. But as far as having trained older people, their education population is not that big.
Oh. Okay, Plum. Now, Plum, on to Meta News. I don't like the fact that they put the 18 plus. Clubhouse, if you're listening, she shouldn't have the 18 plus on there. That's a nice little cute little icon for yourself.
Yeah.
Plum, did you report this?
Reported it several times, but I
really
no response from it. No.
Well, I hope the response that you need soon. And thank you for Gage. You should come on stage more often. We don't get to hear from you. Yeah. So let me check in with my friend Pate. Sister Pate, are you there?
Yeah, hold on. Let me look on Spotify real quick.
Okay.
Have it on. Just trying to see if they.
I just want to let y'all know that the pastors are fighting. Really weird. So it's 3 pastors. Mm-hmm. So obviously we all know Pastor Brian. So one pastor from Chicago is defending Mr. Charlie Kirk. And then Brian and another black pastor is giving him the smoke. Oh no. Yeah. Then why can't we just sit this one out? I just don't understand. Pastor Brian a wolf. Not in sheep's clothing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just be quiet. I'll definitely have all 3 of the links whenever y'all ready. Why we want to get him back home? No. It's 3 different pastors. So I can play the Chicago pastor, which is speaking down on the Charlie Kirk situation. So he's speaking down about Pastor Brian and another pastor in regards to them saying that this young man is racist and all this stuff. And Pastor Brian, he goes and tells Pastor Brian, post a video of this young man being racist. So, Pastor Brian, he gave him a few videos. And then there's another pastor. But it's 3 different pastors. That's why I said it's a fight going on with the pastors.
Y'all remember that? They were black. Wars.
And all 3 of them are black.
Everybody want to try to be all sympathetic. Get us let me tell you something. This is why I can't stand coons. Because all that, we okay, master. We know, we love them too.
Yeah, that's how the Chicago pastor sounds. He sounds like that. But is it possible that they didn't have to say anything at all? Like that they didn't have to touch it? So this is the thing, right? As a pastor,
you gotta speak on it.
Not only you have to speak on it, but you ain't gotta worry about nobody fucking firing you. You already have your members, right? And nobody can fire you as a pastor. The members fire you. That's his church. The members could leave? Exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like that whole and to each of them.
I mean, she was making a point. No, but I'm just saying that I don't feel like as a pastor you have to be worried about, oh my God, my job, I can't say this because I'm going to lose my job.
I mean, would Jesus back down from a debate? He called
this devil advocate shit.
But I would definitely, I would want you guys to hear all 3 people and then for us to speak about it whenever you guys hear it. Everybody gets
it. Let me just finish what I'm saying. Everybody gets a benefit of the doubt, and maybe we gonna die doing that. We're really gonna die trying to be like, let's just see what they saying. We're gonna die, and I really hope y'all stop that, because that maybe so. How about that?
That's not what the Bible says.
I don't care.
But if you didn't follow the Bible,
hold on, I'm not finished talking. So the whole wait and see and let's find out, and let's just give them a chance. So many black people in this country have gotten killed doing that. Also, so many black people have gotten killed fucking with the Bible in this country. I'll land there.
So, Patty, is the
Spotify up? Sunday.
Wait a minute, is the Spotify up or no?
It's going. I don't know, because I went directly to the Charlie Kirk show. I played. I think too many people are trying to log on.
Okay, keep trying. Let us know. Sandra, go ahead. So.
No, I was just saying, Gemini came in with the same type of report after he came back from church Sunday, saying that the pastor that he's known forever and ever and ever was doing the same thing. So he said he had to think about it and pray about it and decide whether he's going back.
Okay, so the pastor was doing what the Chicago pastor was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so not what Brian or the other pastor was doing.
Yeah, he prayed for him, saying that he, you know. You know.
So I asked the question, did they have to touch it at all? If I were a pastor, I could just touch on it from the aspect of, hey, listen, we saw some horrific stuff happen on, live streaming, and I know some families may be impacted by it, some families may not, but we are praying for the family of their lost one. Seeing something so horrific in this day and time is, it can definitely be troubling to everyone, right? So with that being said, we're just going to keep the family in prayer and hope that they get through this. And, we're praying for the nation. We don't want to be fights and things like this break out. We're praying for peace, and just going to keep everybody lifted up. That's how I would have spoke on it. I don't have to go into detail. I don't have to say all this stuff. What I did was I was able to recognize it, touch it, give love, as well as spread love for everybody. That's it all.
Yeah, First Lady, but this is the thing. Not everybody knows how to handle their emotions, right? So whether the emotion is sad, hurt, or anger. So when you see something like this happening, that everybody's standing by this man and making it seem like, oh yes, he's all this, praise him, he's almighty. And they don't do that for the other side. When they lose a life, that anger comes out as of, it's 2025. We're tired. When the fuck is this shit gonna change? And we're gonna continue. So that's why I say that everybody's going to react in a different way. Whether they regret their reaction later on, or they don't regret it, they still are going to react how they choose to react.
Absolutely. And what I just gave was what I would have hoped all the pastors would have been saying. That's what I'm talking about. Before we got to this, that's what I'm saying. Why did they have to, not the people who are responding, but the people who are saying additional things that might hurt the other side? Instead, find a way to be neutral. That's what I was talking about. I'm talking about the previous step that got us to this now. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I was talking about.
This is what happens. Obviously, we have online church. Things go viral. So Pastor Brian had his service this past Sunday. What he said went viral. The other pastor, what he said went viral. Now this guy from Chicago decides to respond to viral from these two pastors and say, no, you guys are wrong. You guys are the wolves. You're this and this and this and that.
Got it.
That's exactly what went on.
Gotcha.
When I decide to tell my congregation and speak in my church, you cannot tell me what to speak in my church. This is my church. So it's not like he went on a live feed and on a rant and saying, oh, this and this, the way you guys are acting. No, it was a preaching. And he put it in his preaching for that Sunday.
Got it. I thought
so then you hear, because he even said it. He said, I do not condone this. Anybody losing their life this way.
Right. Okay, so yeah, let's listen to it. Originally, when you were first saying the story, I thought Brian then was responding to him and what he said.
Oh, no, the Chicago guys responding to them.
Exactly. Okay, got it. Okay, so which one are we listening to first? Are we listening to
So we're going to listen to the Chicago. So I don't know.
That's why I thought that he was first and started speaking, because you said you wanted to listen to Chicago. So I was like, oh, okay. So I thought he kicked off the beef. But you're saying that he's ending the beef by responding to these other pastors that have preached through, right?
All right, hold on. Let me see.
Okay. Let me see.
I'm exhausted.
Don't be exhausted, because
do you understand?
Our heart is still beating, so we can't be exhausted. Yeah. We can't give up.
Yeah, but every time something happens, you got people telling black people, all right, well, you so be nice, and then if you be nice to them, and then if you show love to them, man, fuck all that. This is why black people got attitudes in this country all the time, because shit goes to hell with us, and then people always want to tell us, all right, so y'all gotta be nice, turn the other cheek, because Jesus said, and bitch, I do not give a fuck. I really don't. And I understand why niggas be on edge, because since we have had this, that's the first thing they did, turn to black people. All right, y'all gotta feel this way. Bitch, we ain't even do shit. I hate this country.
So I got a podcast. I had to go to YouTube because it's like crashing on his website. So let me go ahead and play this.
She's an incredibly brave soul. I'm not sure if you saw her remarks after Charlie died. If you haven't, I would encourage you to go and see them, because you see this raw grief and incredible courage all in the same moment. And that's what we need right now. We need to grieve, but we also need this courage in this moment more than we've ever needed it. She gave me a hug, and she was heartbroken, as of course she would be. And she said that she loved him so much. And I said, Erica, he loved you so much. He died way too young, but he died a happy man because of you, because of the family that you gave him, because of the home and the life that you guys had built together. And we sat for about an hour and we talked about Charlie. And, you know, in these moments, you don't know what to say. I'm a person who literally speaks for a living, and I had no idea what to say. And I didn't try to console her, because how can you console a person who just lost a loving husband and father? But we just talked about Charlie. We talked about who he was. We talked about some of our favorite stories. We talked about some of his idiosyncrasies and all the things that made Charlie Kirk who he was. And she said something to me that I will never forget. My wife was there. It was just me and my wife on my side, and then a lot of people from the Turning Points family, a lot of people from Charlie's family. And she said to me that Charlie never raised his voice, that he never cussed at her, he was never cross or mean-spirited to her. And look, I'm a husband. I'm proud of being a husband. I think that on the great balance of things that I'm a pretty good husband, but I can never say that I was never unpleasant with my wife. I can never say that I've never raised my voice to my wife. Like most husbands, even the good ones, were sometimes imperfect. And I took from that moment that I needed to be a better husband, and I needed to be a better father. Because of all these moments that I shared just the last few days, the books that I've read to my kids, going up to their bedroom and kissing them and hugging them before bed, I just realized that all of these moments that I get to have, Charlie is not able to have them anymore. And Charlie's kids and his beautiful wife are not able to have them anymore. And maybe the best way that I can contribute and the best way that I can honor my dear friend is to be the best husband that I can be, to be the kind of husband to my wife that he was to his. We talked all the time about the most important thing you could do is not vote for a particular candidate. It was to become, if you were a young man, a husband and a father. He talked about the joy that came from fatherhood, the joy that came from raising a family and being part of their growth and their development and all the incredible things that happen when you get to be a husband and father. And that is the way that I'm going to honor my friend, is to be the very best at that most important job that I can be. But that's the way that I'm going to honor Charlie. And there's going to be a lot of discussion over the next 2 hours of this radio program about what exactly that looks like. It's important, and Erica asked me this, to make sure that his movement, the movement that Charlie started, has to keep going. We have to build upon it. We have to add to it. We have to make sure that the next generation of young people feel confident and courageous to speak their mind and to speak the truth. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about why do we do this? Of course, we do this so that we can enact good public policy and take back our country. We're going to talk with senior officials of the administration about what we're trying to do to honor Charlie's legacy in that way. Of course, we have to make sure that the killer is brought to justice, and importantly, we have to talk about this incredibly destructive movement of left-wing extremism that has grown up over the last few years, and I believe is part of the reason why Charlie was killed by an assassin's bullet. We're going to talk about how to dismantle that.
Nobody interrupt. We're going to do 60 seconds of time here. Spread a little light. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Here's your. Can you hear me?
John.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, this is your 60 seconds of Tanya. This is chapter 9, The Secret Yearning for the Good. You have two natures, physical and spiritual, and each has its own voice. The physical speaks as self-serving passion through the left side of your heart. The spiritual speaks as awakened intellect through the right side of your heart. As it is written, the heart of the wise is on the right. These two natures battle to control your body, like two armies besieging a city, for the body is called a small city. While the physical resists the spiritual embraces the physical, as it is written, and you shall love Yahweh your God with all your heart, the left and the right. This all-encompassing love is called infinite. In such love, even the inclination towards selfishness is redeemed. For even it desires what it perceives as good, and when filled with infinite love, it comes to know the true good, and so turns away from evil and does good. Hence, even the inclination towards selfishness and the bounded separate self desire to serve God, even as they entice you from such service. In this, they are like the seductress of the Zohar.
Thank you so much for that. Exec, welcome to the stage. You want to say something? Okay, Matt. Oh, no, Exec, go ahead.
I was just saying, just go.
Perfect. Mac, mic's on you, bro. I just don't want to go back and forth where it's just me and you talking, because we can do a one-on-one with that. But, you want to engage with everybody that's in the room. And everybody has a difference of opinion. Everybody has a right to speak on the mic in my room for like 60 seconds. And then allow other people to speak, you know what I mean? So I just don't want us to get caught up in where we're going back and forth, and it becomes boring for everybody else. So I want everybody to be involved and engaged. And like we just let up John, and to do 60 seconds with Tanya, I think it's important that we all spread a little bit of light everywhere we go today, each and every day. Open the door selflessly. Don't look for a pat on the back, man. Do it for the goodness of, because you wanted to do it. Do selfless acts, and Hashem will bless you in abundantly. And for those who don't know the word, like Hashem's God, will bless you if you do. The best thing I ever see is when I see donations and the plaques on the walls, and it says identified person or whatever. They just don't identify themselves on the donation. I'm so proud of that person. I'm like, good for you.
Hey,
more and more of that in this world.
Bibi, I heard McZed say once that the reason why we see society falling down is because the moral education isn't there. The moral understanding and comprehension isn't in the society. So McZed, you think that's the primary reason why we see people, cheering Charlie Kirk's death, calling him a racist and a sexist, could care less that he was murdered?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Cheering on someone's death does show like a gap in the training of murder being bad. But we already have school shootings. Someone tried to kill the president. We're currently engaged in multiple wars. it's not so clear people understand the law against murder, and while the law against murder has been on the books since time immemorial, so too has the existence of wars. And I feel like a lot of people have never really thought through how that has always been the case. And they just don't know what the difference is between murders and wars.
Well, why don't you educate us and tell us what is the difference between murders and wars?
That's a good question. Murders are the result of a legal code within a community that has a shared language. They communicate with each other. They're humans, and they're mortal, all of them. So they make certain rules. Murder, right up there with number one on those rule charts. They usually put in some other ones like theft. They have various ideas on property. Usually hitting each other, again, pretty universal. But they develop and it becomes like a rule system. But war is not about the agreed consensus of a communal order amongst cousins. War is the interaction between these units, these different legal regimes. When different legal regimes have control over this peace and security of their citizenry, and that necessarily disavows the peace and security of non-citizens. It's not their concern. And they have a primary concern to take care of their citizens. As a result, those interests, let's say, conflict with other states that have similar interests in trying to protect their citizenry. That's what war is. And what war is, more than murder is bad, war is the lack of law. It's literally taking the youngest people of a community and sending them to go steal, kill, and destroy for the good of their society. Not at all like murder. War is a dangerous, poetic, artistic, human expression of the breakdown of a legal system. Right? That's why it can be a civil war, a revolutionary war, but it's not the same as a murder. Murder has the pretense of civilization behind it. Order, normalcy, propaganda about moral relevance. War is not that. War is when you take whatever you can.
I read it in a book once that war is two sides proceeding over a funeral service. Do you agree with that sentiment?
No.
Why not?
Acknowledge and respect the effect that war has had over history are deluding themselves. They're just crying over dead bodies, which yeah, fine, everyone cries over dead bodies, but you're not acknowledging how humanity has made progress. I'm not saying wars are good for society, but they are not full engagements. These are complicated affairs that involve numerous different generations of people for their own reasons volunteering to engage in these political actions. War is not just foolish people marching to their own death. It's people pushing in one direction or another the direction of the future.
And what war did you fight in? This helps we don't know this coming.
Hey, Achek, I got a follow-up question from Mixat. So Mixat...
Go ahead, ask him what war he fought in. So be take off the matter.
What the fuck does it matter, bro? What's your fucking beef? Every day you come in here and start a fight. Honestly, what's your beef, dude? What war did you fight in? No, you're annoyed about life, bro. You're annoyed about women. You're annoyed about mothers. You're annoyed about fucking, every people speaking. Nah, man, I got no patience for you, dude. Constant, every fucking day.
Okay, let me ask this
So
follow-up.
you'll sit patiently for an hour and then come up he's fucking hungover or something. So he just woke up and he's let me shit on everybody. Fuck off.
So Mixat, Machiavelli talks about ruthlessness. Sun Tzu talks about strategy. Where's the moral? Is it a moral index of what you can and can't do to your enemy to win the war? You know, where do you stop, or how do you determine a moral index in war?
Yeah, sure. It's simple. Warfare, in my opinion, is won through primarily hearts and minds. I think it's the conviction of the belief of the army that endures. So to me, it's more about aligning yourself, your own civilization, towards your conception of what is the ultimate good, and why is this person standing in the way? Why is it that you're killing this person? Why are you moving into his house and setting up a camp? Why are you taking land and setting up barracks? What good is this for you in the world? If you don't inculcate that in your soldiers, you're setting them up for a life of tragedy and horror.
So Sun Tzu says all wars won are fought on deception. How can you rationalize insane propaganda, you know, in 2025? If you know,
I don't think that all wars are built on deception. I think that in war it's difficult to see what is true, but I don't think that people are always deceiving each other in warfare. I think there are a lot of wars where people operate openly and honestly, and yeah, they're like within fighting there is deception, right? You're killing a person. Lying hardly feels like a moral failing.
Well, it's asymmetrical, meaning that if you
in the end, war, like I said, since it's really just multiple civilizations that are preserving their own peace, interacting with each other, the primary goal in the end is communication. It's some kind of a dialogue and a concession, a surrender, a development, a revolution, some kind of a change. It's just a primitive means of communication with a more primitive component of human civilization, i.e. the civilization. Humans might be able to communicate with each other slowly, but because of our complex systems and technologies, we're not yet effective enough at communicating with each other in large numbers.
Yeah, I find pointing back to the law is the quickest way to resolve conflict, surprisingly. Or not back, but to the law. I mean, I'm being attacked on social media, but I keep referring back to the law. And, you know, I don't want to do ad hominem. And there's a quote, I think, by Socrates that when slander becomes, you know, the communication, the debate is lost.
Right. And that's the point. There's always propaganda. There's always lies told from multiple different perspectives, some of which are worthy of investigation, right? Like, different perspectives are good. But that doesn't deter the well-orchestrated war from an alignment of national focus. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? If that is clear to the people, the war will be victorious. Whether to the soldier, the guy working back at home or running the buses at home, a secretary, as long as they know who they're fighting, why they're fighting, that war will be won by those people. That's why the Nazis lost, because it was a crazy idea. And not everyone was fully on board with the let's all just genocide the Jews, even though they went along with it.
So is the danger today, you think, lone wolves and mind viruses?
No, it's just like a symptom of like opening the Pandora's box of everyone's perspective is published and recorded forever.
Isn't that what's happening on the internet today?
Right. It opens up the demons. In a lot, like there, in every generation, there have been people that thought exactly like all of these people. But now, you know, the Walmart is selling a rifle, and I see on TikTok exactly who the targets should be. Oh, and look, here's his schedule, all in the palm of my hand.
So, I mean, do you think it's capping Pandora's box, concealing Pandora's box? You know.
Listen, if you really wanted to put a cap on Pandora's box, you'd end the free speech regime of America and say, we don't want to hear crazy, outlandish views. We don't want the Nazis to march in Skopje, Illinois, right? We want to focus on the good ideas, the ones that we all agreed to, like, let's say, our laws or constitutions. We can focus on those published ideas. But we have decided to do otherwise here. We let every idea free.
And my question is to Achek. So
if McZed has never fought in a war, he's not allowed to have a moral perspective on how.
My good friend Ben. You're such a regular, Ben. I wish you'd introduce yourself. Got a phone over here that's on the fritz. Who are you, Ben? Long-time listener, great silencer. Ben, who are you, Ben?
Just me. It's just me, bro.
It's just me?
It's just me, yeah.
Oh, you just me. Everyone's Charlie Cook. I'm Charlie Cook. I'm Charlie Cook.
Everybody's screaming. Even to the death of the bloke. Like I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, nice.
We hear about it over here. Yeah, we're all chanting the same thing. But yeah, I think it's more about sympathetic as far as I'm reading it, but I mean I might be wrong. But I'm only hearing what's coming out of the ears of the phone, you know. So it's as loud as it's screaming, and it's as loud as it gets. And apparently I didn't even hear about the shootout in our own country of this young fella that tried to take out a cop, and the cops killed him. But and that was last week in our own country, but I didn't even hear about that. But that's big news for us. But it's been spread, you know. It's either we hear about these things and the next minute they're gone. But I think this fella's been lifted up to a platform. He's his own Jesus, you know.
Yeah, I was thinking about that yesterday. It's, you know what? I think that's actually like a mythological motif that we humans just keep playing over and over again. And so I don't think you can actually escape it, because I think it's like embedded in the programming almost.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you've been following this more than anybody else. The way I love diving in with you, and I love your freeze out and the way you punch it out, and you know you're on. I don't know. You're interesting to be with and amongst it, so I enjoy it, and I don't know what else you can do to align with people, you know, and antagonize, stimulate, motivate, whatever. You know, I didn't even know. I used to listen to Charlie Kirk on those shorts, those YouTube shorts and that, and I'd sort of give up, and you know, in 10 seconds. I had no idea what he was talking about, but obviously he seemed to know what he was talking about, and I guess he had a bit of knowledge about the understanding of, you know, the angle of persuasion and encouraging people to talk, and that's great. And I think it's sad for the kids, but I think because he had the youth together, so I saw that he had a lot in him. A lot of people have never had for a long time. I've never seen that, but I never used to understand what the hell his narrative was, or you know, his take or his angle anyway. But now that he's gone, it's like he had some angle, you know. So I'm wherewithal about him. I'm just driving to work, so I'll probably cut out at some point.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for being here. This is the John Kitover podcast, Murder versus War. We're listening to BB's Room, and we've been asking questions to McZed. This is what they're talking about now.
But that's what the left does. And I'm going to call you that. You guys do that dumbass shit. And then after you want to try and insult people, because the problem with Clubhouse is people don't know how to say, I don't know. So what they do is they spread misinformation.
they read a TikTok, they watched a TikTok, they read some bullshit fucking news article that some man wrote with a bias, and they believe that to be facts.
Yeah, outraged that
crazy as
people
shit.
don't agree.
Got a lot of work I gotta do, but
Kept trying to come
No, I'm outraged that people don't have a moral compass and that they're mentally ill. And I'm outraged that people are sick.
You literally kept having to make modifications because you were coming to the realization that shit, this is a false equivalency.
Because you fucking fell for it right away and said I would be to blame.
It's nothing.
Because I had to draw it like crayons because you're wearing a fucking helmet and you showed up to this room in a yellow short bus. And I'm sorry, but you forgot to wear your knee pads and you probably scraped your knees walking into this fucking room. And I needed to draw it on a fucking chalkboard with fucking melted crayons for you to understand. And I had to dumb it down. And once I did, you're like, yeah, you're right.
Right, that's how I see it. It's all right. That makes sense. Jaya, you needed that help. It was just me and you.
I don't need help, homeboy. I don't need help. That's the difference between me and you. But the problem is you go on rants for 20 fucking minutes and you get lost in your own bullshit. That's scary for me.
It's like
I mean, if you don't have to talk yourself, but if you can tell me what area you are in the world, I'll find the kids' helpline. You can call them and you can talk to them. They can probably help you out better than this room.
Hey, Mackendall, can I ask you a question, Mackendall?
Yeah, thanks for coming. Put on those V-pads, buddy.
I hear you. Just like your rabbi.
There we go. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. I mean,
you don't mean shit. I mean, like, buddy, land your plane. Just not on the side of a building, you fucking coward.
With the circumcisions,
Yeah, with the circumcision, I know. Yeah.
They don't give me that for that.
Well, it is a beautiful Monday morning still, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Safe for Jews and Israel, debunking all Palestinian lies and propaganda once and for all. This room will culminate your clubhouse education. After this room, I doubt there will be any more questions, any more concerns, and all of your issues and opinions will be completely resolved. You will learn the truth here today, ladies and gentlemen.
The problem is people don't listen. They listen to speak. They're not actually soaking it in. That's how disingenuous people are. They're not actually.
I don't know what is up with these mics today.
For you to shut the fuck up so they can speak their bullshit. They don't give a fuck what you have to say.
This new account, Jaya. This account, Jaya, is also tied to a new Instagram account, and I started following Greta Thunberg. There is a huge industry dedicated to Free Palestine. It's a clothing industry, it's a media industry, it's a news industry.
It's all money. You think they give a fuck about Palestinian children? They don't give a fuck about Palestinian children. They don't give a fuck. This is all for the sick-minded to jump on a booty clap bandwagon. They couldn't give two fucking shits. If they really cared, why aren't they advocating to release the hostages? Listen, the smartest thing, whatever happened, would be if, okay, let's release the hostages. Let's unarm Hamas. If Israel drops one bomb after that, then it's a huge fucking problem. But what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
What I'm trying to say about the Free Palestine movement is it's not just a movement; it is a platform. So the algorithm is some people are just completely in a Free Palestine tunnel vacuum. And there's no getting out because it's all coming to them from their cell phone real time from the ocean as Greta sails the seas and keeps taking selfies in the sun. They are emotionally tied to the journey. So it's all spam, and they just keep recycling it. So that's part of, in my opinion, this situation, because it's all self-feeding. It's like a snake eating its own tail, and they'll never be able to escape it unless they actually just toss their cell phone in the ocean and get a new profile, because it's all tied into your cell phone and mainstream media and social media and connecting with your brain. And people are just, in a way, they're almost lifeless because they're technically just completely absorbed by their algorithms that keep feeding them their reality.
I'd like to call a moment of silence for Mac's dignity. BB just fucking destroyed him. And he walked into it acting like he had nothing to learn. And I could tell the palpable moment when he recognized that he actually was agreeing with BB and he was actually learning something. And only then did he flip and go back to his old, tiresome bullshit arguments that now had no relevance because BB had fucking flattened them, just like those buildings in Gaza. I want to welcome my good friend and amazing person, JB, Harry, that are here, Shadiqua, Grace, Juharis, George, Jaya, Rondell, Mike, Layla, Samson, Farden. Yeah, you're all welcome to come on up and speak. But it was the funniest shit, man. I had to use fucking crayons to paint out a story for him. And it was too easy. It's just the weirdest shit. The weirdest shit that they're that easily manipulated. You know what I mean? And the number one, listen, I'll tell you the number one problem with Jews today. It's either fucking weak Jews. It's scared pussy Jews that put us in the most fucking dangerous position. Because they talk shit. Because they don't know what they're talking about. And like I said earlier, it's a problem that people just don't say, I don't know. I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know.
Hi, George.
Not well versed on that. Explain it to me.
Hi, George.
Well, they're living in lies. They're not looking for truth. They're looking to propagate their lies. Nah, people want to get cuddled and they want to be elites and they want to be elites and they want to be the gatekeepers of the community and they know what's good and basically the Jews that are doing the dirty work, that you're like basically the sand ninjas of Judaism, and a lot of Jews are being used and treated like shit and then they'll go and cuddle and then they'll sit in other rooms with fucking dirt bags and then they'll sit there and act like the superior almighty fucking Jew. And they're giving power to the enemy inadvertently.
Again,
and I think they actually know that. And you have like people like, Buttercup that run around this app.
Attacks or slander.
Fuck, allergies are bad here. But are going in and hyping these people up, and then the funniest thing is, I was in a room the other night, Amir's room, and they were attacking the shit out of her, and she don't care, but she's like, "But I love you guys. I love you."
However,
I think it's more of an identity crisis that they're going through, a superior already complex as well, where they're like, "But I'm the superior Jew because I can talk down to other Jews," and it's like it's almost like a Willie Lynch syndrome. I swear. It reminds me of. Just don't kill the room, bro. Keep it upbeat, man. Because I'm fucking so ADHD today. Like I need it. I need high stimulation, man. Yeah, I'm about to get.
I will let your audience.
It reminds me of my cousin who was a vegan and her husband who was a hunter.
Ideas, opinions, and goals.
I think. God bless him. Yeah. Thank you. Ace, you want to come up? Mac, honestly, bro, I couldn't waste any more time with you, man. Like, I proved my point. You fell for it. It wasn't that I was trying to trick you. I was trying to dumb it down so you can understand it. And you did. And you said, you agreed to everything. And then you're like, oh, fuck. Then I'm intellectually fucking inept. I'm dumb. Because you got squashed, but it's okay. Listen, I agree that everybody should go around their house and squash all the insects. And termites, like, you know what I mean? If you got cockroaches in your house, you should squash them. You should clean your house. And I think people, this is the problem with the world today. Everybody's looking at the grass is greener on the other side. Yes, motherfucker, it is. You know why? Because you're not watering your own fucking grass. Charity starts at home. Love starts at home. Protect your kids. Raise your kids properly. Give them morals. If you got to give them tough love, don't be that pussy parent. Give them that tough love so you can have your most prized investment, which are your children, to be blooming, and they can flower into something amazing that you've taught them. You know what I mean? People think I'm crazy. I teach my little daughters dominoes. Dominoes.
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm driving, so I just want to jump in while I can. Bro, you spot on with the elitist motherfuckers on this app. Excuse my language, ladies. Right? That think that they're going to determine what we should and shouldn't say. And I'm talking about our community specifically. I'm over it. Right? Then they play dumb when you call them out. And here's what I think, DB, and it's just my opinion, obviously. That we need to put headshots on these people and call them out. Stop tap dancing. See, they play on the fact that we're forgiving people. But, you know, you can only shove shit down somebody's throat until you say you're full. Like, I'll tell you right now, Rohan's a piece of shit. Right? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. and what happened yesterday in MySpace, you know, another piece of shit move. But still, people always expose themselves to who they really are. They'll sit there and sing Kumbaya with you. Just give it a little time, though. Because if you give it a little fucking time, they're going to expose themselves. Thank you, BB.
Absolutely. And 100%, I totally back exactly what you're saying. And I always give credit, and I hate it, but fucking Harry, he fights you all the time. He's like, BB, they're pieces of shit. And he calls her on like, Harry, you're too fucking hard on them. What are you doing? Stop, man. You're ruining the stage. He's like, fuck you. And they fucking, and I always have to go back and say, Harry, you're right. I apologize. How the fuck did you know? It's the funniest shit. Now I just sit back because he's right. He smells it. They open their mouth, they say 2 sentences, and he's like,
Hi, George, thanks
I'm
for the
like,
great
wow,
interview.
bro,
However, I do not appreciate attacks or slander against myself.
Now he lets them speak.
Perhaps
but he
you've
says
had one
right
too
here,
many
you're a piece of shit,
vaccines.
but go ahead, speak.
I will let your
And
audience
I'm
determine my
so many
predicted
times
ideas,
with
opinions,
saying,
and goals as the Congressman.
Stop, Harry, what you're doing is wrong. And now I'm saying, Harry, fuck, how did you know? You're right. You're right. You're right. And I give him his flowers, man. And what happened yesterday in JB's room was completely wrong. Absolutely. People can play stupid about it. And Rohan and all these fucking scumbags that are going around here and trying to gatekeep Jews and doing this whole elitist bullshit. Fucking wrong.
Real quick. Rohan, that word to me, I am the gatekeeper of the Jewish community. Because I guess God appointed him. He gets to talk over all of us down to us. Fuck him and his bullshit and his phony.
I agree, bro. And yeah, even like fucking years ago now, Harry's told me, careful, this guy's a piece of shit. But, yeah.
But like the conversation we had earlier, sorry to jump in on driving, so I can jump on the king. Like the conversation you and I had earlier offline, and I say it again. Sincerely, I believe there'll be another October 7th somewhere in the future, and these fucking elitist assholes won't be the ones that'll be the first ones to stand up and help people. They'll talk about it, but they won't. So, you ain't got a fucking single thing for the Jewish community on this app, and I'm pretty sure in real life wants to be the fucking gatekeeper, right? So that if you want a boring ass time, go listen to Rohan.
Hey, JB, this is Jaya, a.k.a. John Kitover, and you're my #1 donor. I'm not trying to upset you in any way. What I do want to tell you is that Rohan, who I have recorded quite a bit of here on Clubhouse, he absolutely detests me because I've made recordings of him. And I will just say that if what you're saying is accurate and truthful and transparent, then most of those people have no problem being recorded. They don't have a guilty conscience. However, if what you're saying is misinformation, lies, propaganda, bullshit, and what you're trying to do is gaslight, and you're an immature child, it's those people who are the ones who push back the hardest against me for making recordings of them in Clown World.
Here's the thing, John. I don't give a fuck, David, I never have. But I also think there has to be a level of respect when people don't want to be recorded. I feel that people that don't want to be recorded usually have something to hide, right? But here's the thing. There's other people that just don't want to be recorded. So why can't you bring that level of respect to people? If there's like, hey, man, I'm not comfortable with this. But you think you have this sense of entitlement that you could do what you want because it's not even a free app anymore, John. Why don't you just respect people?
Listen, JB, you're my number one contributor, so I do want to take your advice. And I'll be honest with you, running, you realize it's a network. I have people gathering signatures for me right now that I would give full-time positions to because they've done the heavy lifting. So I respect you. You're part of my network. I hope to be a part of your network. And any warnings or heatings in the moment, I will take note and I'll do what you ask me to do or consider what you ask me to do. Is that respectful enough for you?
And I appreciate that, but here's the deal. Last night when you were in my room, recording my room, and I know you did because you were live streaming it, and people came out and said, we do not want to be recorded. You still did it, and then you played a buzzing sound when they played the music. So when I say to you, hey, John, can you not record this room, please? No, because I say what I say, I believe. I back up what I say. I'm not one of these fucking shills that hide in the fucking shadows. But if I ask you to do it, bro, just for me, do me that solid. And I have no problems with you doing what you do on your own time.
Sounds good. I will respect that, and I hear you. And I will just say that buzzing sound was me doing the
Thank you, baby.
I fucking almost choked.
Wait, John, did you just say that you would respect that and not record?
Yeah, JB's my number one campaign contributor. Until someone steps up, I'm taking his advice.
Wow, that's awesome.
Amazing.
I love that.
Because the answer to that question not too long ago was an unequivocal no.
Well, maybe now you learn how politics works. Sometimes campaigns or people running or people in office, they take the advice of their donors. Oh my God, I can't believe that's how it all works. Thank you, JB. I respect JB because he gave me his money. That's respect. Now I'm returning the respect. That's how politics works.
I gave you money too, though, John. Hello?
Hello?
Not enough.
Apparently.
Okay, so we got somebody that wants to come up. He can never maintain decorum. Go ahead. You got 30 seconds. Yeah.
English, طيب, okay. So everybody needs to understand one thing.
Yeah.
That's it. You're not threatened.
So everybody needs to understand one thing, that if you can click on a speaker and you're in a mod, you can move them to the audience. Thanks, man. Fucking goof. Anyways. My whole point is people need to take accountability for their actions and realize what you do in life, there's consequences and repercussions. And if you get called out by people, it's usually for a good reason. It's usually for a good reason. What's up, Moore? How you doing, brother? I don't know if you're here. Holly, how are you?
Hey, sorry, I just took a bite. I'll just listen for a minute.
What are you eating?
I'm eating a just decent, not great sandwich from Arby's. I took a chance on something different. Should have just gotten the classic.
Davey, let me just say this. The thing that I'm most fed up about, I really don't give a fuck. Talk about me, don't talk about me, is the hypocrisy that people spew. What's done with that? Just come real, come correct. We talk about fixing the problems in this world and all this other kumbaya bullshit, but then motherfuckers are just fake. Excuse my language. Thank you.
Well, I had a conversation at a bar once with a guy, and this is after coming off of years of having Clubhouse conversations, and I realized that I became a hypocrite and he became a hypocrite. And so ultimately I realized the longer the conversation goes on, everyone will become a hypocrite if the conversation just goes on forever, because truth be told, the peace and the stillness and the resolutions that people are looking for comes in silence and acquiescence to one another and putting each other on a pedestal or taking each other off of the pedestal. So
I disagree, man. People that become hypocrites are the people that have FOMO. They fear of missing out and they want to be accepted. I don't want to be accepted by anybody. I don't give a fuck. Either you're my friend or you're not. Either you want to hear what I have to say or you don't. I'm not going to go and chase you down to make sure that you can hear what I have to say. And I don't want you to like me because of anything. I want you to like me because you genuinely like me.
Right, but
give a fuck. What I do today is going to affect me tomorrow, so I always maintain the same code.
Well, what I'm saying is
I'm trying to get rid of friends, to be honest.
Well, what I'm saying is one of the parties, even though they're correct, if they keep arguing long enough, they become a hypocrite because they're wasting their own time. So, you know, it's a you thing and it's your choice on your communication, which is consumption or distribution.
Leon, is that how you say? Leon, welcome to the stage. Oh my god. How sick, how fucking retarded are people?
People, you know, have degraded into animals, essentially. I mean, it's...
Some people come here for fucking good communication, and then there's other people, you gotta wonder, how did you tie your fucking shoelaces in the morning? Did you put your fucking underwear over your pants? Like, how fucking slow are you?
Over your pants. I will say this, BB, you definitely attract all of them. What's up, man?
Oh yeah, this room attracts them like crazy. I think they're dying to hear Harry speak, that's why they come to hear Harry. You know?
What happened to what's their gay Harry from UK?
This gay, he's not gay.
Horatio. Yeah.
That's Horatio, yeah.
Yeah, Horatio's, he's still around.
Oh, I haven't seen him in ages.
He was on the other day. He was in your room the other day.
No kidding. Gosh, I missed it.
We did a whole flashback room the other night, man, and the room lasted till like 4 a.m. about all of the people that were on Clubhouse. And it's actually crazy when you think about all the characters that have come and gone on Clubhouse. And it was fucking funny. Like it was actually a good room, and there was a lot of people in it, and it lasted fucking from like 8 a.m. till like 4 a.m. and we were just talking. Towards the end of the night, like 8 o'clock at night until 4 a.m, it was just going on about this person and then a little bit about them, and it was fucking crazy. We've seen on this app, anybody here has seen the most fucking craziest, weirdest fucking people spewing the most fucking weirdest shit. And then I've met some real decent people on this app too. And it's I can count on my hands how many decent, but I've lost track on how many fuckers.
That's very true.
Certainly you aren't anything to see.
But yeah, going back to that about, and we've always said that, like, the number one problem, like, with being Jewish is other Jews. They're the one that bring us the most smoke. And they allow, it's like that, they agitate not only the Jews, but they cuddle up with the people that want to kill us. And it becomes extremely problematic. And I'm not sure if it's Munchausen or what's going on, but there's definitely like a mental illness. And the problem is it's not spoken about enough. It's not talked about enough. It's because almost, I don't know if we're ashamed or whatever. I like to call him out. Harry most definitely calls him out. JB calls him out. But it's like, it's fucking dangerous. It's detrimental for one's health. Like, it's very, I'm not sure if, I think maybe they do realize the destruction they're causing. But I think they think like, well, nobody's going to come out to me because I'm the elitist. I'm the king fucker. That's why I changed my PTI today. Batman's holding a baseball bat and his crown's tilted and it's heavy.
Well, Batman was the Dark Knight. You know, we need more knights in this world who are chivalrous, who are gentlemen, who are willing to wage war against the enemy and achieve victory. That's really, you know, Charlie Kirk's death, and it is a mythology. It is a motif. It is a reoccurring theme. It's my opinion, and I don't think many people will disagree. But this is what throughout history has been happening. I don't think there's anything new under the sun. Everything that is has always been. So it's just repeating. And the problem is it's a little bit like a dance or the spiraling nebulae, meaning that be kind to your dance partners. Let the partners find themselves. But it's the violent people that's very annoying in the system. No one wants terrorism. No one wants violence. We want to resolve problems peacefully in our times. That's my opinion. I'm Jaya. I am complete.
Perfect. I'm going to start a little song for the reset.
George, you must not be a serious host, and certainly you aren't anything to see. Not anything to see. Navy. Perhaps you've taken too many Pfizer vaccines. To see the interview with candidate Congressman John Kitover and George, John Kitover film. George, you must not be a serious host. Certainly you aren't anything to see. Perhaps you've taken too many Pfizer vaccines. To see the interview with candidate Congressman John Kitover and George.
Even if, because I thought about South Africa.
It's a spiral nebula.
South Africa, white people were not the majority, but they still controlled the entire economy. They controlled basically the means of production. They controlled everything, and then they controlled the movement of people, the society. So I was like, you know, South Africa was nothing more than another settler colonial project. America is the biggest settler colonial project. They could do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing. And just right on cue, after so many years of talking about this bullshit, white people were going to be the minority. I never believed it, but it didn't have to be true. What it was doing, it was planting that fear and insecurity in these people. And as much as they said, oh, we've come such a long way, we knew that shit. We knew they were going to go right back to what their grandparents told them.
you need to proceed at this point. You know, protect your neck. No pun intended.
I mean, if you really think about what they're saying women belong in the home, right? Women should be wives and mothers. Immigrants are stealing our jobs from Americans. All the, people of color, black people, they don't have the brain processing power. They're all DEI hires. Okay, so who's left? It's only white men left. They're literally telling us only white men should be in charge and should have important jobs and should do things. That's exactly what they're saying.
So again, the country is built on that. If you go look at the Constitution and read, just how I talk, there's nothing in there for minorities. There's nothing in there for women. It's really for rich white landowners. That's what this country is foundationally built on. Thank God we have the Bill of Rights. We have amendments to the Constitution that have given other people rights. But if you just look at the straight up document, that's just the people that wrote that, the founders, the people that were in Philadelphia that penned and ratified that shit. That's who they wrote it for. So they're trying to get back to that. They feel because I say, the principal white supremacists that are just they're not the ones that are out here with the Jesus flags or whatever talking about white men fight back. They're not the Patriot Front, they're not the Klan. But literally, if they'll talk and be that this country, the founding fathers didn't mean for the country to be like this, for it to be all these immigrants here and all these people that it was meant for white people, and that's what they want to keep it that way. It was something that lost my damn train of thought. Something that King said earlier or whatever. Oh, as far as that stuff that Richard Spencer, people were talking about this stuff before. It's always been a thing. So go back to Trump. We survived Woodrow Wilson, where they screamed "Birth of a Nation" in the White House, and I don't know how many, must be 100,000 Klan members marched up Pennsylvania Avenue. You go back and look at pictures of it, and they talk about in Congress, that 75% or 80% of the damn representatives, U.S. representatives, were Klan members. We have survived those times, and we'll survive this. But I'm just saying that as far as it's always been there. It's just that people the Bible talks about it. People are dumb as fuck or whatever. If you look at the 80-20, where they want to look at, even look at this election cycle, the way that people have manipulated and played, even with the stuff on Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club, and the little stuff that was said about trans, and I don't want my money going to trans surgeries in prison. People are easily manipulated, and so Trump, because he's an American icon, love him or hate him, the most has been in the American lexicon for freaking 40 years or whatever. So we've seen all this stuff with Trump. Trump is a unique individual, and the fact that he is out here and he's so incendiary in everything he fucking says. Charlie Kirk hadn't been there for an hour. It was blood still on the stage or whatever, and he's talking about the radical left or whatever, and and we got to get them, and they killed your hero, and it's the best voice for young conservatives, just all this bullshit that he's coming up with or whatever. Leaders, if a leader like Trump, and I can't think of the name for it, I just heard it today. When leaders say words, and it's not telling somebody to go basically commit violence, but it's in the way you carry it, the radical left, saying that that they've killed your champion, where you're basically giving commands, but you're not giving commands. And I'm just saying that Trump does that. Most of our presidents, the presidents in my lifetime, Nixon is the first one I can remember. No president has ever done that until Trump. If something happens in this country, people that don't like black people, Ronald Reagan, I like him as a president, but he was racist as shit or whatever. He didn't even necessarily like black people, but he was he loved America and he tried to heal his country. Trump doesn't give a fuck about anything but himself. He doesn't love America. He doesn't love his fucking kids. He doesn't love anything but Trump. And it's he's our president. And I'm sorry, podcasting there. I'm going to shut the fuck up. But it's that. I just wanted to say that.
Well, by being narcissistic, a guy's strange pattern that he would come out immediately with all of that information that wants him to be a martyr and a Messiah. here comes Netanyahu chiming in, saying that he's the savior of Israel, and it was really in this relationship, and it wasn't what they pretended to be at all. So more fake news. And on that strength, this guy's being treated like, well, he was late for soccer mom practice, or he was late coming home from the football game or something. But both characters, the young Anglo-Saxon males, WAPs, etc. And now, if it had been a Negroid or a neuromelanated person involved, it would be chaos. It'd be going crazy. Saying, man, but they're still on the same mission. Same shit hanging from a different shingle to vilify the melanated man. Somehow they're going to ease us up into the middle of the equation, whether we're directly involved or not. And that is, I think, the plan, is to push them blonde hair and blue eyes. Can you imagine the wife of John Fitzgerald Kennedy coming to the mic right at his memorial service? Here she comes. We're going to make America great again. We're going to keep this rally going. We're going to build this movement. Okay. Now, this guy's been spotted. Another part of the fake news. Somebody said they spotted this guy. All conspiracy ain't, ain't pseudo-conspiracy. So you got to watch what is happening close and personal. And somehow, no matter if it's COVID or Charles Kirk, they're going to ease us up in the middle, and somehow we'll be responsible for kicking the dirt. But I say we do not pull our foot out of the behind or the backside of Donald John Trump and this guy, Netanyahu. I think they're just stages, just B-movie actors, they just regular guys. People has exaggerated them like they exaggerated Charles Kirk. I'm telling you the truth. To stand-up people that are really involved with the science and the politics and mathematics that operate this world, the realism people, they mean absolutely nothing. I'm just serious. But we drink the Kool-Aid and, hug the testicles, and he urinates in your face. And you call it rain and Kool-Aid, but I call it he pissing in your face and call it rain.
George, you're taking too many Pfizer vaccines.
Patty, you still have more to play?
Yeah, hold on, let me go ahead and go back to it. So they actually have, right now, it's...
We appreciate Texas slandered against myself. Perhaps you've had more than many vaccines. I will let the audience determine my character and his opinions and goals as the Congressman for 2016. So here we go with Canada Congressman Sean Kitover below.
Someone would be in line to give him the
being here, and we have 10 minutes, Tucker, and just to give you guys at home a little behind the scenes, the producer just showed Tucker a sign that said rap, and Tucker looked at it and said, this is expand on your point, right? So if we end up going 35 minutes, you'll know it's not the host's fault, it's Tucker Carlson's fault. We read what we want to read. But I had, Tucker, I think you know this, and some of you know this because I wrote about it on X.com, but when X.com was Twitter, I did an interview with the Tucker Carlson Tonight Show on Fox News, and I got a message from a guy named Charlie Kirk that said, you did a great job, I really liked what you said, and let's keep in touch. And that began the start of my friendship with Charlie Kirk. That was the first time I had ever communicated with Charlie Kirk. So you've known him for a long time. You talked to him about a lot of issues, and I want to talk in part about how to honor Charlie's legacy, because I think that he modeled civil discourse within the right. He accepted there were big disagreements on all these issues, but he thought we were all on the same team and we could debate this stuff, but actually have a drink at the end of the day and recognize that we were all trying to accomplish fundamentally the good of the country. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Before I get there, just tell me about your buddy, Charlie Kirk. What was he like? What did people who only know him from radio or TV not appreciate about what a good guy was? That his Christianity was sincere, and his commitment to Jesus was totally sincere. And it, sometimes isn't, especially in public figures who throw out Bible verses they don't understand and stuff like that. But in his case, not speaking to him in particular, but in his case, it informed every single part of his life, from his marriage, to the way he treated his children, to the way he treated his staff, to the way he approached disagreement, to the way he thought of other people, which was always primarily as people first. And that was, he was much younger than I am. And I met him when he was a teenager, so he's literally the age of one of my children. So it's kind of hard to take him seriously at first. And over the years that I knew him, more than 10 years, I learned from him. I'm not just saying this because he's passed. I mean that sincerely. And the main thing that I learned from him was how to disagree with people on topics that you take very seriously and that they take very seriously without hating them, without feeling bitterness. I mean, it wasn't, people knew what was going on behind the scenes. There was a lot going on behind the scenes, and it was intense, and it was bitter, and, because the divide, particularly in foreign policy questions, is very real in the Republican Party. Neocons versus the realists, or whatever you want to describe it, he was on the realist side for sure. But he was the man that people disagreed with him. He liked them as people. He agreed with them on some things. And he would always say that. I agreed with in private, he would say that. And, I was involved in it because people were mad at him for having me at his conferences or talking to me. And so we had cause to talk about it a lot up until he was assassinated. And I was so struck the whole time and saying, would use the ugly language I'm famous for in private. And he would never talk like that. He'd say, well, I agree with him on this, but obviously I'm on your side on that. And he just never forgot there was a person behind us of views, and that inspired me. And God commands out of us. That's a real commitment, in my opinion. And he lived it. That's exactly right, Tucker. He treated everybody with respect, and because he genuinely loved people, and he genuinely wanted their salvation, he wanted them to have a relationship with God, he wanted them to know the truth, he always treated them with respect, maybe especially when he disagreed with them. Yes. And I think about this. So you talked about foreign policy. That is one of the big divides on the American right now. And the thing that Charlie seemed to understand intuitively is that the coalition that made Donald Trump the president of the United States and J.D. Vance the vice president of the United States, it included Tucker Carlson, but also Ben Shapiro. It included people who did disagree vociferously, but agreed on 70 or 80% of issues. And fundamentally, the question Charlie would ask is, if you're a good faith person and you're trying to do right, then you are part of the Big Ten. I think that's something that we have to try to model together, because Charlie's no longer around to do it for us. And in one way in particular, I was very touched by this. I actually texted Mark about this, because you very generously have put out some donation link to help support Charlie's family. And think about it. Eric and the kids, most importantly, they're grieving the loss of a dear husband and father, but somebody, us, we're going to have to step in and fill the gap to provide for them in a way that Charlie no longer can't, because he was taken down by an assassin's bullet. You know what saw share that link was Mark Levin. Yeah. And I thought it was a really good example of how Charlie was able to bring people together from across our movement, so long as we were operating in good faith. That was the question. If you were good faith, you're on his team. That is exactly right. Good faith is the measure. And I have to say, I think now is exactly the wrong time to appropriate the memory of someone and the emotion that comes with that, the really intense emotion that all of us feel at his murder, and use it for your own parochial ends. Like, he stood for this, and I think the reason that Charlie was able to bridge the gap, particularly in foreign policy, is because he had, for example, genuine affection for Israel, which he expressed to me in private many, many times. Like, I love Israel. I don't think we should have another forever war, regime change war against Iran. And I think that made complete sense to me. I sort of agree with that, actually. And so it allowed both sides to talk to him, because they felt like, this person doesn't hate me. It doesn't need to get existential. It's not about disliking me or some weird bigotry. But I don't think it's helpful for people to jump in, particularly foreign heads of state, to say, this is what, he lived for my cause or whatever. That's disgusting, actually. Don't do that. That turns everybody off. You don't help your own cause by doing that. And it's also literally untrue. So I just hope that we can continue in, I'm not exaggerating, the spirit that he operated in, which is one of love for other people, including people we disagree with, and don't make it, as small bore as that. It doesn't help. Yeah, so one of the issues, Tucker, I agree with you, that he would express disagreements with the administration on, there are two that jump out, is one, Charlie was a hardliner on immigration. He wanted us to control our borders as much as possible. He wanted us to ramp up the deportations. I remember having conversations with Charlie where he would say, why are the deportations higher? Why aren't you doing more? And I would talk to him. But it wasn't, hey, I don't understand this, or I disagree with you, and therefore I'm going to blast you and assume that you're in bad faith. It's, I'm a free citizen. I love you guys. I supported you guys, and I'm going to use my platform to try to accomplish as much good as I possibly can. And I think that made him such an effective operator. I would talk to him. Here are the reasons why. And as you see, Tucker, we've ramped up deportation numbers. We have actually, there are a lot of people who are self-deporting because they don't want to be in the country knowing that eventually immigration enforcement will happen. But I think part of that success comes from people like Charlie applying pressure. Pressure as a friend, pressure as somebody who cares deeply about me. And that's true.
Yeah, I'll put on pause for a second.
I think somebody was asking you to put it on pause.
Yeah, I asked for it because I just didn't want him to get too far away from something he said that's been bugging the fuck out of me. I think it bugs a lot of us. So, do these motherfuckers, because when they did this thing in Huntington Beach, which I keep going back to because the shit is really bothersome, that they're talking about white men fight back. The one person, the one group that doesn't need to fight back anything, white men fight back. And they had a flag that had a Jesus flag, it had a red cross, and it said something about Jesus. When they talk about like Charlie Kirk loved Jesus, everything that he said, has anybody in here ever read the New Testament? Because apparently none of these crackers have ever read the fucking the New Testament. And I hate that I'm saying crackers. I'm pissed off at these motherfuckers that's fucking devilish or whatever. Like they're fucking demonic or whatever in the way that they carry their shit or whatever. So it's like fuck them. So here's the thing: do they understand that Jesus looks more like Haile Selassie or Muammar Gaddafi than he does? I don't know what the fuck they think. The people that they treat like shit and like garbage look like Jesus. Right? Thanks. So it's like, so the people they treat like shit look like their Lord and Savior. I can't fucking stand that they keep saying Jesus, 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 Jesus this. But Jesus said that my kingdom is not of this world. And like you can see that because this world, we're like living in fucking hell with the way that these crackers fucking claim Jesus or whatever and then treat people that look like Jesus or they have lineage to Jesus. They treat them like fucking dog shit. They treat them worse than they would treat their fucking animals literally or whatever. So it's like, I just want to say that because like, I get fucking tired of hearing all these fucking crackers. Jesus this, Jesus that. This shit is fucking annoying. And Jesus, they want to punch my fucking fist through their fucking teeth. This shit is fucking annoying. They need to fucking stop that shit. Excuse me, because I love the Lord. So let me try to be more like Christian, like or whatever, for real. Or whatever. It's like, read the fucking New Testament. Stop with that bullshit. I yield.
Michael, Jesus flipped over tables. Go ahead and flip over some tables.
Mm-hmm. Well said. I got your back.
It says though we're dealing with the Ku Klux Klan Jesus though. That's a real mind fuck.
Right. The Confederate flag Jesus.
What's up, Monica? What you up to? You came to the stage. What you got to say?
Good day, Monica.
Or are you just minding black folks' business on a Monday morning?
Yeah. We're just having a
Yeah, I don't know. Monica and Tool C had their hand raised, and I brought them up.
There's a lot of people in here. I guess they're shy.
So let me answer.
Shout out to the chat. What's up, CEO?
Yeah, hey, what's up? Let me answer Michael's question. So, Michael, there's a thing I like to call compartmentalized Christianity. And so it probably, in terms of your friends or family, operate in that way. But when it comes to political stuff, they don't. So I think that's what you're seeing is like they think because they excel at it in their personal lives that it excuses everything else they do.
Hey, CEO, I heard the best quote that I've heard in a long time from the pastor that preached a sermon this weekend. Best quote I've heard in a long time. He said, the way you died does not redeem the way you lived.
Amen. I saw that in a
I seen Pastor Brian. I was gonna play that, but I'm still waiting to play it.
That's the best quote I've ever heard.
The clips from the pastures, if we're ready.
Say it for the people in the back of the congregation. GA.
Mel, do you want to play those clips?
I'm waiting on Patty. I don't know what else she wants to play. How long is this thing that we're listening to?
I'm not sure, but it goes through the commercials. I'm not sure.
I'll say one more thing I just learned, like literally in the last half hour, was that Kirk hosted Black Youth Leadership Summits and Women Leadership Summits, taught leadership development, professional development. So I thought that was intriguing. I did not know that.
Juicy said, Juicy just mentioned in the chat that TC was mad at Pastor Brian yesterday.
TC is an attention grabbing clown at this point.
Yeah, crack pearl clutching.
CEO though, what is that supposed to mean though? That he had these workshops or whatever, if we know that he was teaching them, I find it terrifying that people who question the capacity of Black people's ability to perform, to think on a high level, to perform on a high level, even though we've been doing it for fucking centuries. I find it really terrifying that this person has the ear of so many Black youth. And I did see a video yesterday of a 12-year-old. He wasn't even 15. Talking about Charlie Kirk, but that's because these people have been guided into the algorithm down that pipeline, just like they did with that other very problematic fave, Andrew Tate. And so I don't think that doesn't put me at ease, especially when he promotes like these stereotypes. And again, some of these talking points are the same talking points spewed by fucking David Duke, welfare, single parent homes, and we had to reduce the qualifications instead of the industries have excluded Black people from participating regardless to what their qualifications were, and we have proof of that. Given that there have even been Black Harvard graduates since the fucking early 1900s, since the late 1800s, right? Scholars. I think about Elaine Locke, who went to Oxford in fucking like 1912. Like, so I don't feel encouraged or soothed that he did any outreach to Black people, because I feel like he was just reinforcing Black people's self-loathing and low self-esteem because of what we've been programmed to believe all our lives through, the white supremacist majority. Like, what is that supposed to mean that he did that?
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to mean any of those things. I think it's just a matter of like, sometimes we rush to the most simplified explanation of something, and having the additional data can help you just understand what the big picture is. It doesn't mean that you change your perspective, but it is better to understand the big picture than not to do so. So for instance, let me ask you this. Do you think, well, hold on, let me just ask this question, and you can answer it or she can answer it. Do you think that presidential candidate that platformed Charlie Kirk, is that like disqualifying for them running for president?
Not in today's date, because if we remember, David Duke actually endorsed
Donald Trump his first term, and he still won. Mike Pence came out and said that he wouldn't accept the endorsement, and he kind of repudiated the endorsement, but Donald Trump accepted the endorsement, right? So I don't know. I think that it wouldn't matter because of the state, the majority of the country of that base is in.
What if a Democratic presidential candidate did that?
Nothing disqualifies anybody from platforming somebody and running for president. We're way past that. So I think that question is kind of moot at this point.
Are you talking about Newsom?
I am talking about Newsom, yes. Newsom had him on his podcast, and they had an exchange, and Newsom said that his son was a fan of Charlie Kirk, and he was a fan of Charlie Kirk, and all this and that. So I'm just wondering, like, if this is the opinion you're stating of Kirk, does that shape how you see Gavin Newsom now?
Yeah, well, not now. I remember when it happened, and I remember that a lot of people had words for Gavin Newsom for doing that, because Kirk's is. I mean, he's been doing this from the beginning, right? So people are well familiar with his dog whistles and his quotables, right? So even when it comes to women and gay folks, right? So yeah, people had words for Gavin Newsom, and they were really discouraged by the fact that he had him on his podcast. However, I understand that politically, well, I don't know what he was trying to do politically, but I think that he was trying to do something. Unfortunately, we live in a racist country. We always have, and politicians have to kowtow to low-key white supremacists. That's nothing new. I'm sure Barack Obama had to do that at one point or another as well.
Right, because it's weird because they tried to say, well, Kamala didn't speak to any people from the right. So it's kind of weird that they're now trying to critique Newsom for actually speaking to right wing or a right agenda or even MAGA. So do you want the conversation or not? That's the question for me.
So let me get in, because I want to get on what CEO Asker was talking about with Charlie Kirk and speaking to black youth. So like the miseducation of the Negro, the fact like the slave Bible, I think there's like 1,100 books in the Bible, and the slave Bible is on like 275 like books. Commercials, the fact that like that we hate our own hair, like the fact that Madam C.J. Walker with the straightening comb, and like the fact that like motherfuckers putting concholine and lye in their fucking hair, chemicals that like are still on the brain and like in your skull after you die, because we trying to straighten our hair and look white. We have always, this country is miseducated. So Charlie Kirk is just another, that's just throwing another shrimp on the Barbie, or that's like that's a Tuesday or whatever for Charlie Kirk to be talking to black youth and spouting like his fucking hate and like giving it to people that take it and then do something with it. Even like with the Divine Nine or whatever, like, you know, like I say, hey, I love us, I love black people. We copying shit like this Greek shit or whatever. Like, what black Greeks do you know or whatever? Like, we have been miseducated. So Charlie, that's nothing. That means nothing with Charlie Kirk doing that. So Charlie Kirk, he's a martyr now. So it's like, it's fucked up that he got shot or whatever. I don't want him to die. So it's like, so I'm not somebody celebrating his death. I really hate it that the man, like a father of two or whatever, is like dead. And now it's fucked up because like fucking like Star Wars or whatever, like Obi-Wan got struck down. This motherfucker's a Force ghost now. Now it's like everything he says is like, it's gonna be like written in like biblical characters we can't just like fucking Abraham or something. Like literally like now his words are like just immortalized, and they become canon in this whole
white supremacist thing. So for Gavin Newsom, he's Horst Wessel. I talked about this guy the other night. I just learned about him like not too long ago. But this young man, like 20-something in the Nazi party, that got killed in the 30s in a fight, and then they used him. They made songs about him. He became like the martyr. He became a symbol for the cause. So it's like you attack the Nazi party, you're attacking like the memory of Horst Wessel. Like that's what the fuck they're gonna do with him. So if Gavin Newsom uses him to get to that fringe lunatic element, or like let me not be like, well, fuck it, but that lunatic element on the right, fuck it, it's politics. As long as when Gavin Newsom gets in office, he doesn't do the shit like Donald Trump's doing. Here's my thing, and it's just my opinion. I don't give a fuck how we get power. We just got to get power back so we can start doing what the fuck we need to do to like heal this country. Because like playing nice and doing shit the right way ain't fucking working. So it's like, so yeah, if you got to use like, if a Democrat has to use, Charlie, hey, go for it.
I just wanted to speak. There will be no downgrade of the Divine Nine, specifically the beautiful women of Alpha, Kappa, Alpha, Sorority Incorporated. You will not insult those beautiful women.
I wanted to. I love them. I literally love them. Somebody I love in my life, and a few people I love in my life. But I'm not saying that we. Did we bring that shit over from Africa? Did that shit come from West Africa? We over there like stepping and like we like
yes, we were stepping and stopping. We were stepping and stopping.
Yes,
but I would push back on this point. When you say that about those fraternal organizations, they've been instrumental in the community and community organization. So let's not go there.
I don't even, because this Charlie Kirk shit. Listen. We need to unite. So it's like, so I love all black people. I'm trying to reach across the diaspora. Please, when I'm saying stuff, we did copy that shit. We didn't come with this whole thing about Greeks. That is something that we took from like Skull and Bones, from all this shit, Kappa, all this black shit. We stole it.
Yeah, but you was talking about the stuff that you said come from West Africa. The stuff you made the point of stuff coming from West Africa, and this is a point I've been making a lot. Did Christianity come from West Africa?
And Michael, can you make a case that the Greeks took knowledge from Africa anyway, so it's not really a big deal for African Americans to use Greek?
You can, but it's like you can. But if we came from like Alexandria, or we came from Egypt, went to the river, we literally were here in this country. We came to the William trucks, and we came to Woodrow Wilson. What Woodrow Wilson did, all the racism in like that time when Berkeley, that is like where you see like where these organizations started like found like from like 1908 to like 1913, all these like these organizations, it's literally during the Woodrow Wilson when he rolled back 1904 games of Reconstruction. That's when you get this movement. 1904.
Listen,
Sigma Pi Phi. Sigma Pi Phi.
At the end of the day, some of our prominent leaders came from an HBCU fraternity or sorority. So to then be dismissive of that just because it gives some type of weight. Listen, our vice president is also an HBCU graduate. Like, please, we need our smart, we need our educated. Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul, but he is a community college dropout. We do not need idiots leading the charge. We need smart people. We need people who are going to want to hit the ground running. That's it.
Oh, my bad. Did Christianity come from West Africa? I'm just wondering.
Listen,
you down talking all that.
Hold on. Say you can do that if you want to. Do you understand we're at DEFCON 1? We literally have a clear and present danger that wants to fucking burn us out, that wants to retoss us. They want to do anything they can to us because they're jealous, they're aggrieved, and we're like the focal point of like some sickness that they have that they just can't get past. So I ain't doing that shit with my brothers. Like all my black brothers and sisters, we are the diaspora. We need to get together. Now's the time to get shit about like where Jesus came from. Like I just made that statement that I made because somebody talked about CEO mentioned that Charlie Kirk was going to like talk to black people, and then somebody made a statement. But I just want to let you know that everything in this country for black Americans, we have always been influenced or taught by white sense and sensibility. That's just the way that we fucking are in this country. We're damaged in that way.
Yeah, since nobody's saying anything, I guess I can jump in. I'm just sitting here thinking I just can't believe, and I wish that there were certain things after all of the history that we've been through that were just settled questions. Like, for example, at the most basic level, we all know all of us have different abilities, gifts, strengths, weaknesses, but our capacity has absolutely nothing to do with our race. That should just be a settled question by now. And I think the danger of a lot of these folks on the right is they're bringing back all these things as open questions. Oh, well, maybe black people do have less brain processing power. Why don't we dialogue about that? Why don't we have a debate about that? Why don't we all think about that? I mean, there are just very basic things after everything we have been through that we should just know better and should just be like, no, that's not something worthy of debate. That should be rejected in the public square. Of course, you're never going to convince everyone, of course. But to bring these things back into the public square like this is horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, and these statements that he made that they want to memorialize, that they want to hold up and say that he's one of the greatest thinkers. I mean, literally, that's what the Speaker of the House said, and I apologize for the way this. But, they want to memorialize his words, his statements, as if they are valuable, and they're not. Not only that, but, even if he did decide to open some type of organization to teach young black kids, it still goes in the same mindset. I know better. I have the mind, the capacity, even as a college dropout, to teach these people, these underlings, because their parents don't have the fortitude to be able to teach them. As a matter of fact, even if they do go to college, which he thinks is their scams, right? Even if they do go to college and grad and become great legal minds and make it all the way to the Supreme Court, it was done in the process of a DEI mindset. That's what we thought. I wish I had think about that for a second. So it doesn't matter if he opened up this organization to teach young black folk. He thinks he's the only one he can do. That's why he did that. So when you have that, and when you think about it in that manner, it can only mean one thing. I feel people will forget what white supremacy is. It is not getting rid of everybody else. What it is to feel that you're superior.
It's taking too many Pfizer.
Okay, that includes people of color, black people, people who are not considered sexuality or gender issue. That's what that mindset is. So
attacks.
Be with that.
My issue is this, and I'm with you, Michael, and I think we have the feeling that we have. It may have something to do with our generation, but the level of, and y'all, I'm gonna make up a word, the level of pistivity that is in my bones from just seeing the audacity to put the face of this man in some sort of meme next to Martin Luther King. This is such an ugly, dismissive, nasty form of rhetoric. It is so nasty. It is so dismissive. It is so rude. It is just, it is
taking too many Pfizer vaccines and attacks.
To turn around and then gaslight and say, you shouldn't be angry. You
upset because the way he was killed was such a
George
tragic
Dinehart,
thing.
the Republican Illinois kingmaker,
And
has
then to
taken
give
too many
carte
Pfizer
blanche,
vaccines and attacked
literally saying,
candidate Congressman John
remember your
Kitover.
place. Remember your place, because we get to say and do whatever we want to. And remember, because of free speech that you wasn't supposed to have in the first place, because we were nice to give it to you, we can say whatever we want, as long as we want, and then get to tell you, you don't get to say whatever you want, because it's un-American, because don't forget, this is our country, we let you in. That, the audacity, the unmitigated gall,
George, you've taken
is
too many
so
Pfizer
vile
vaccines.
in my bones. I feel exactly the way you expressed yourself about an hour ago, Michael. It pissed me off to the, I just, yeah. And what breaks my heart the more, what just snaps my heart into a million pieces, is the blind, mule-like behavior of some people that are my color that does not see this as DEFCON 1.
George, you must not be a serious person to say or anything to say.
Y'all been laughing at me, but I've been saying it for almost 8 months. Some of these Negroes got to drown. Because I know it sounds bad, I know it sounds horrible, I know it sounds callous, but literally, some of these Negroes got to drown. Because if you don't see how they're taking a dump and smeared it in your face, and you're gonna shuck and jive in blackface when you're already black, I don't know. It's just.
Straight up. I just want to get on one thing that Jay said, because I've been talking, so I'm going to shut up. But I just want to say about this, like, not being like our country, which it should be. We're more American than most people here. So people that came off the boat at Ellis Island, like your Irish, your Polish, your Czechs, your Slovakians, your motherfucking Armenians, like all those people that we literally have been here since like the late 1500s, like building this shit or whatever. So African Americans, like ADOS, whatever you want to fucking call yourself, whatever. This is our America. So I'm gonna fight for this motherfucking country because I literally got ancestors that put blood on this shit or whatever. Saying all that to say that if we don't get this shit together and we don't make some kind of stand now, like democratically or just even to get a Republican, like a Rhino or whatever the fuck, if we don't get MAGA out of there or this white Christian nationalist movement that's racist, we can kiss the Voting Rights Act goodbye. Because we already got dumbass Clarence Thomas on there. If you ever listen to oral argument of the Supreme Court, the motherfucker sounds like, I don't know what he sounds like or what. I hate to talk about a black man, but I mean, the motherfucker sounds like an idiot. We do have Katanji on there. It's like, but I'm just saying that the Voting Rights Act with the 6-3 minority that we got or whatever, and then with what they're trying to do, that shit is going to go bye-bye or whatever. So it's like, so to Jay's point, some of the rights that we have enjoyed, they can roll some of that shit back because we don't have we weren't born with the fucking right to vote or whatever, and they literally can take that shit back. I think in 2031, a portion of it that I think Bush ratified, Bush 2 ratified, I think has to be re-signed, but it's like they can start going back to how many marbles in this fucking jar or whatever. Like if you can't get that, then you can't vote.
Well, it's certainly designed to take you to another level of festivity. But on that strength, the fake news part of it is petrified.